tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go! It's bow time.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. Hurry, sale ends September 30th, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90NATION or at windownation.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Mostly cloudy skies for this afternoon. Francine, of course, moved inland and is spreading a lot of cloud cover across our area, but we won't see a whole lot of rain out of the system. Highs this afternoon will be in the low 80s, mid-60s tonight, and then 80 degrees again tomorrow under cloudy skies, and we'll have a few showers.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 145 points at 41,000. This hour of the drive brought to you by Zero Res. Kick football season off with a deal this month from Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpets cleaned starting at $119 and 25% off your air duct cleaning. ZeroResRaleigh.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly, producing the show today, Graham Hill. So we'll be having some exciting rejoin music coming in and out of breaks for the listeners every day. You know what that means. Today is a day of new beginnings. Today is a day of fresh starts. Today is a day, I don't know if you can hear this. That was me literally turning a page.
Bob Seger?
That works. See, we're getting the music stuff right at the gate from Graham Hill. We can get into the X's and O's of the Panthers playing the Chargers tomorrow. We can get into the X's and O's of that tomorrow. We can get into the X's and O's of maybe what NC State needs to do against Louisiana Tech tomorrow on Friday. That's a day before the game thing. Today, we can talk about the bigger picture stuff. Today, and we'll talk Panthers first, it's a test of the culture, the fresh start culture. This past offseason We've heard a lot, meaning the offseason that literally ended like last week. We heard a lot about the improvements to the Carolina Panthers roster, about the new guys they brought in, about the new offense that Dave Canales was bringing with him to Carolina, about the tangible things that we could see improvement on. But what we really heard a lot of, more so than any of that, was about the culture, was about the refreshing voices, was about how things had gotten sideways the previous season in Charlotte, in Carolina, and the new camaraderie of the group, the new alignment of the group, the attention to detail, the excitement that they had to tackle adversity. That was what was going to be the most different. Well, none of that could be tested week one. Right? You can't prove to me that you can overcome adversity until you face adversity. Right? You can't prove to me that you're going to stick together until something tries to tear you apart. This week for the Carolina Panthers, I need to see effort. I need to see the type of plays where the backside defensive tackle books it and ends up making a tackle 40 yards downfield because it was just pure hustle and effort.
I mean, you want to talk about everything that we heard coming into this new season during the offseason with Dave Canales and Dan Morgan. Where's my dogs at?
That's a great point.
How do you get hit and how do you respond? How do you get back up?
I need to see caring. I need to see that the culture is strong. The dogs, as Dan Morgan would say, right? We have the Dan Morgan dog scale. You should be fighting for the opportunity to be someone that solves the problems of last week.
I mean, you should just go out there and look like, just look like you give a damn after how bad you got blown out in week one.
Exactly. Look like you give a rat's behind.
Look like you're mad. Look like you're upset. Look like this is not how we pictured this season going to start off.
There's something to be said for the age-old Pop Warner coaching point of, if you're going to make a mistake, make it going 110%. I'm going to rewind back to the touchdown that got it all started, right? The touchdown from Derek Carr to Rashid Shaheed last week. We've talked about this from one particular angle, which is it was, I believe, a communication error more so than a physical ability error. J.C. Horn appears to be the one that got beat. I believe he thought he had safety help. He thought he had a safety over the top, so he didn't actually get beat. He was kind of funneling him towards the safety help. Safety wasn't there. I don't know who was wrong. We can't know that. We don't know what the call was. Right? Jordan Fuller, the safety, maybe he should have been there, or maybe J.C. Horn should have known that Jordan Fuller wasn't going to be there. Somebody made a mistake. But the thing that upsets me the most, and the thing that would upset me the most this week, is go back and watch it. I'm not 100% sure J.C. Horn couldn't have made a tackle at the 5.
There was plenty of plays on defense where the Panthers could have intercepted balls that Derek Carr was throwing. By the way, the fact that you just made Derek Carr look like an all-star just says it all right there. No offense to any Saint fans listening, but there was plenty of times where the Carolina Panthers could have caused turnovers, and it's almost like they just didn't put in the effort to go out and reach for the ball.
There's something to be said for being mad and frustrated. There's something to be said for how you target that. J.C. Horn was obviously mad and frustrated. Body language, everything said, gosh darn it, where's my safety? I kind of wish it would have been, gosh darn it, where's my safety? Now I have to make this touchdown-saving tackle. And who knows, maybe you hold him to a field goal. Does it change things in the long run? No. Right, was it 47 to whatever? Like the difference between 47 points allowed and 44 points allowed ain't anything special. 43 points allowed is nothing special. But the effort is. You might lose again this weekend. L.A. Chargers, Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh has him doing Jim Harbaugh things. J.K. Dobbins looked like a really good running back, healthy again this past week.
Khalil Mack on the defense.
Khalil Mack, Bosa, we could go on and on. You might lose again.
And I don't know if there's so much of an identity right now with the Chargers other than they're just going to go in there and establish the run and stop the run. Like they're just going to keep it basic underneath Harbaugh.
You have to take wild amounts of pride that if there is a collapse within the Carolina Panthers, that you were the last one holding the rope trying to keep that building up. That's what can be tested this week. That couldn't be tested last week. Last week, the X's and O's, the tangibles, is your quarterback good enough? Can you guard one-on-one? Can your offensive line block? That can be judged in week 1. But your culture really can't, because anyone can have great culture and success. Anyone can have great culture in good times. Anyone can have great culture when everybody's 0-0 and everybody's alive and everybody thinks they're going to go win the Super Bowl. It's after the adversity that you learn about culture. So if this team is different than last year's team, we're going to start seeing it this week. Last year's team, once adversity hit, we started hearing things about, assistant coaches or scouts going around the head coach to talk to the owner. We started hearing things about
play calling going back and forth.
Oh, yeah, this person wants to be the play caller. This person wants that.
And then it ultimately led to an 0-6 start.
If this year is going to be different, it starts this week. We knew, and anyone who said that they weren't expecting this, they were watching through their Panthers blue-colored glasses. We knew there was going to be stretches where this team stunk. They were the worst team in the NFL last year. All offseason I've been saying, I wonder how Dave Canales is going to react when they lose 3 games in a row, when they go 0 for a month. You knew that was going to happen. They weren't going to show up and be a 10-win team. Did I expect us to find out how quickly or how they deal with adversity this quickly? No. But we were going to find out at some point. It's like when you're an offensive football player, when you're the quarterback and your defense on the first drive gives up a touchdown. One of the things we used to say as an offense when I played in college was we knew we were going to have to score. Right? We knew we weren't going to win the game 0-0, so they gave up 7. We were going to have to score a touchdown anyway. Probably didn't expect us to have to score to tie it up this early, but we knew we were going to have to score. The Panthers knew they were going to get tested. They knew they were going to have lows this season, and they were going to have to come back from them. Probably didn't think it would be going into week 2, but they knew it was going to happen.
Now, is it cliche to say, and the only reason I bring this up, Tim, is because you played football, and I don't know if you paid attention to outside noise like this. Hopefully, you were never in a situation like the Panthers are right now, but just take pride in the fact you're playing at home this week. And the only reason I bring that up is because Pat McAfee, along with other media members who are bashing the Panthers, and rightfully so.
And sometimes a little over the top, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
There are some tickets for this Sunday's home opener that are going as low as $1.83. Are you kidding me?
I do think there's a little less of that in the pros. I think in college it is very much like when you play at home, you're playing in front of like the people that you share an English class with, and there is a little bit more like win for the hallowed grounds that we walk upon.
The people you see every day on campus, okay.
In the pros, I do think home, away, it doesn't matter. The product you put on the field is it's your life's blood. It's your way to earn money. It's like the thing you bring to society as a entertainer. So I don't know if coming home is that big a deal for them. I do think you should value your fans and you should do what you can. But here's the thing. All the fans that are going to be in Bank of America Stadium this weekend, right, the Panther fans, the diehards, they may not have been in New Orleans, but they were watching last week. They saw it. They felt the same embarrassment that you felt because they live and die with their team. It's part of the reason why football is king, because fans are that passionate. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Similarly, NC State dealing with a similar beatdown last week, albeit to a better team. Primetime game, not quite as I would say dramatic, but still, you lose by that many points, you're going to have to bounce back and have your culture tested. What is this week about for the Wolfpack? Stick around.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Here's something I want everyone to keep in mind, whether you're a motorcycle rider or not. The weather's getting so much cooler. There's a lot more bikes out there on the road. So I just want to bring awareness to everyone out there when they're on the roads that, hey, there's going to be more motorcycles out there. So check your blind spots. Just be aware more people are going to be out there on the bike. Unfortunately, accidents do happen. This is where my friends over at Law Tigers comes in. Give Law Tigers a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, before you call your insurance company. Insurance companies want to pay you the least amount of money possible. Law Tigers, they're riders too. They're part of that motorcycle riding community, so they know what your bike is worth. They know what your gear is worth. They know what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation with them is always free, And Law Tigers, they don't get paid until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycles lawyers, if you're injured in a motorcycle accident. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk, Panthers Playbook, the paw print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
Stack receivers both to the right and the left. Hubbard, the running back to the right side of Young, who's setting up to throw. Over the middle, wide open, touchdown as the Panthers tight end, the veteran Jordan Matthews, scores on the opening drive for Carolina.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
When it comes to excellence, sometimes one name says it all. Sound Station and Security.
That's not one name.
True, but Sound Station and Security does so much, our name can't contain it all. We're famous for home theaters, automotive audio and video, and we do full service for your vehicle. Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tints, custom exhaust.
Is there an acronym for all that?
Don't even try. Just remember Sound Station and Security. In Raleigh, Smithfield, and at myhotsound.com.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to perks only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using the promo code Radio1000 and you'll place your first bet today. If you win, great. If not, you'll get it back as a bonus bet up to $1,000. Must be 21 plus and physically present in North Carolina. New users only must register using eligible promo code. First bet after registration must qualify. Max bonus bet $1,000. Bonus bet expires 14 days after receipt. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full items. Tribal Casino Gaming Enterprise is a licensed operator by the North Carolina State Lottery Commission. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The new bonus edition Buck Scratch Off's got a first ever bonus game in the Outback.
You mean on the back, not Outback.
What's on the back?
The bonus game.
Then what's on the front?
Prizes up to $1 million.
I thought the game was called Bucks.
It is. Just forget it.
Crikey, mate. Don't go telling people to forget it. The whole point is for them to be remembering it.
The all-new bonus edition Buck Scratch-Offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.81 to 4.75. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Bobby Joe absolutely hated her job.
Can't hate that job any more than I do.
So, time for one of those fancy tech schools?
No, I could never afford that. I'm going to Sharky's.
Sharky's?
Yeah, no better place to relax. Great food, cold beer, good whiskey, darts, billiards.
So now you love your job?
No, I still hate my job, but I loves me some Sharky's. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, everybody loves Sharky's. Sharky's Place, one of the best neighborhood bars in the world. 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
I'm Kamala Harris. Here's a few things I believe. Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in, they want common sense solutions. You want lower prices and lower taxes. I believe you want to just not get by, but you want to get ahead. We must create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to get a car loan, buy a home, start a business. And I believe we can make that happen.
Kamala Harris's plan? Bring down costs by cracking down on corporate price gougers. Make homeownership more affordable for families. A middle-class tax cut for 100 million Americans. And make sure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share so you can keep more of the money you've earned.
Instead of being focused on the politics of the past, we need to be thinking about the future and how we make it better for families like yours. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when intended to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Color Collection.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I bet you think we could almost run back the first segment that we were talking about, the Carolina Panthers bouncing back from a brutal loss, and just apply it to NC State, who's trying to bounce back from a brutal loss. I do think it's different. It's different for a bunch of reasons. It's different because NC State came in with high expectations. The Panthers came in with expectations of just being better than dead last. It's different because I think the NC State Wolfpack still have many of their goals in front of them and are attainable. Meanwhile, I'm not sure what the goals really were for the Panthers, but I don't think they are quite living up to them, and there are obvious things that they have to deal with. The challenge this week for the Wolfpack is not letting the Tennessee game linger, right? The challenge for the Wolfpack is understanding that a brutal loss on national television stings, but it doesn't tangibly change what you hope can happen in your season. The fact is, your goals are still ahead of you. And what I mean by that is the ACC, I mean, you haven't even started your ACC play yet. You never look ahead, and this team won't, especially not after getting the slap in the face they got on Saturday. But if NC State, at the beginning of the year said you split Tennessee and Clemson, those two games in the first 4 weeks of the season, you win one, you lose one, I think a lot of fans would go, all right, I'm fine with that. You still have the opportunity to do that next week. But you have to reset, recharge, turn the page this week against Louisiana Tech and get yourself moving in that direction so the Clemson game is even a possibility. If this week is spent wallowing in self-pity, if this week is spent worrying about what the world thinks of you because on national television you didn't show your best, then you're already at a disadvantage for the next game.
Snowball effect.
Part of me thinks, and Graham and I were talking about this off air, part of me thinks there's going to be a temptation to change stuff just to give you like something to point to, right? Where you could say like, yeah, Tennessee beat us pretty bad, but that was before we figured out blah, fill in the blank.
Hollywood Smothers needs to be carrying the ball more.
That's before we figured out how special Hollywood was.
How do we get Noah Rodgers in the passing game?
That was before we featured Noah Rodgers on this play. Or even something as simple as like that was before we changed up our practice schedule and didn't wait until Thursday to install our third down packages. Like I don't know what it is, but it feels like just mentally that helps. That's why sometimes a team can play poorly and then somebody comes back from injury and all of a sudden there's a new energy on the team. It's like, yeah, we were playing bad, but that was when Joey Schmoey was hurt. Now we got the big Joe Schmo back and we're good.
Well, it's almost like I've seen this story before. Matter of fact, I'm on Chapter 4 where NC State has a devastating loss in the season. I'm going to go back to last year where it was the 27-3, 20, whatever the score was. When they only put up 3 points against Duke, right? They go into a bye week. They're at the metaphorical crossroads in the season. And then what was the change? Brennan Armstrong finished in the final 5 games of that season. Now, granted, he didn't really have a choice because of somebody named MJ Morris, but you get what I'm getting at.
I'm absolutely getting what you're getting at. And I guess that might be something they could lean on where literally Coach Doran can go up and, bring up every season he's coached and how his teams have reacted to losses and say, look, we suffered a bad loss, but we've been here before. Sometimes sometimes it's just this. Sometimes it's just having a great week of practice. Sometimes you suffer a really bad loss, and if you're just out there on the practice field and you're moving crisp and the scout team is giving you a great look and the weather is nice and you are just cranking out good practices, that can be enough to get the feeling that things are fixed. So you're going into the next game saying, yeah, we got our butts whipped last week, but man, we haven't practiced better than we practiced this week. This week will be different.
The only thing about that, though, is that apparently they had a great week of practice going into the Tennessee game. But I get that, you can have a great week of practice until you go up against Nico and that Tennessee offensive and defensive line. That's when you find out what you're made of.
And then sometimes it's without getting too like this is what it was like when I played, sometimes you can have great practices of different variety, right? Going up against the scout team, sometimes you'll have a week where you dominate. Every play is a touchdown. You don't throw an incompletion all week, and you think that's a great practice because you're cooking them, when in actuality, you're just not getting a good look from the scout team. Then the next week, a lot of times, the coaches might shuffle it up, maybe put some better players on scout team. Now you're not completing every pass, but maybe you're talking trash, right? Maybe you're putting the scout team in their place. Maybe it's, okay, let's go. You're buckling up the chin strap a little bit faster. You have better competition. That's actually a good week of practice. It's not all about being crisp. Sometimes it's about really competing. Sometimes it's about just flushing it. And I've made this joke a few times. Burn the tape. Sometimes it's about just moving the heck on and not thinking about it so much. Whatever it is, part of the challenge for NC State is recognizing you can't let Tennessee beat you twice. If the aftermath, the hangover of the Tennessee game makes it so you don't correct as much as you should against Louisiana Tech, maybe you lose Clemson because you lost Tennessee. That's the challenge that you have to avoid, because that Clemson loss would be twice as painful as the Tennessee loss, even if you only lose by 1. You lose to Clemson by 1, that loss means more than the Tennessee loss because it hurts your ACC chances. It gives you 2 losses, so now you're 500. Like it's more important to be good going forward. Dave Doran spoke with the media. He was asked about the week of practice ahead of Louisiana Tech. This is what he said.
Really good energy. It's actually challenged the guys to, we chart GPSs on these guys so we know how fast they can play and to make it the fastest practice day they've ever had, and they did. We had more players hit their top speed than we have in any practice this year. So I was proud of their response and how they came out. It's really our first true Tuesday practice of the year because we've had, game 1, obviously you've got a long time, and then game 2, we're coming off a Thursday game, So this is the first test.
Man, you can't fake anything nowadays. They got you hooked up to GPSs. Were you sprinting there? Oh, really? Because your GPS says you're only at 85% of your top speed. You can't.
Here's what I want to know. I know you said a lot of players maxed out their GPS speed. I want to know what they're outside of Casey Concepcion. Who were the players that were maxing out their GPS speed?
And what is it? It's great that they're moving around. It's great that they're having good practices. That could be part of the equation. Louisiana Tech, for lack of a better term, it's a get-right game. It's a get-right game. And I'm not saying Louisiana Tech is bad. I'm not saying that they don't deserve your full attention. I'm saying you have one game between getting beat by 40 on national television and Clemson. That's one opportunity to get your confidence back up and cruising. That's one opportunity to put something new on film to make Clemson think about. It has to be a get-right game. It's not playing a high school team that you just load up on to build your confidence. It's playing a real team, but you have to play very, very well to get your get-right before you head into your not only Clemson, but then you thought possibly could be another get-right game in Northern Illinois, but they just beat Notre Dame. And then you're in the ACC schedule. This is your tune-up. Even if Louisiana Tech isn't a bad team or some scrubs, like they get scholarships too, it still has to be a tune-up. Cleanse yourself of the Duke's Mayo Classic. Get all that mayonnaise off of you. That's a weird way to put it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here for Window Nation. Right now, I'm going to lead with the deal. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free. There's no limit to how much you could save. And actually, right, if you are in a, this is my experience at least, if you're in a standalone home, meaning not like a townhouse, not an apartment, I guarantee you will be surprised how many windows you have in your house. They blend into the background. Maybe you don't, you think there's 2 on that wall, but there's 4. I guarantee you will be surprised by how many windows you have. So almost Window Nation giving you a buy 2, get 2 windows free. It like gets it back to the number that you were imagining, number of windows in the house. It's a phenomenon that I experienced because Window Nation came into our house, do the free, no obligation consultation, the in-home estimate that I'm going to tell you how you can set up for yourself, and I suggest you do. But Justin was walking around with us, and he just, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And by the end, you're like, wow, that's a lot of windows. And you recognize every single one of those windows has 4 sides that could be not sealed correctly or cracking, and air could get out there. Has the window pane across the middle. That's another one. So that's 5 times. However many windows you have, that's all the possible breaking points where your air conditioning or your heat could be escaping out into the outdoors, thus raising your energy bill. So not only is Window Nation letting you get 2 windows free every time you buy 2 windows, and there's no limit on that, no matter how big or how many windows you have, buy 2, get 2 free, but also walk around and count. And before you divide in half to recognize how much you're going to pay, what you want to really do is recognize how many points on all those windows that, if failing, because your windows are old, because they were put in builder grade when your house was built, how many different moments, how many different points might be costing you money. Give them a call. Schedule a fast, no-obligation in-home estimate with the pros, the experts at Window Nation. The number to call is 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or you can visit them online at windownation.com. Once again, that is windownation.com. Do you remember, everybody, when we used to be surprised when we woke up and teams were in new college football conferences, college sports conferences? Now it goes over like I don't know, the sun rising and setting. We don't even notice anymore. Brand new Pac-12. What does it mean for college football next?
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50, $70, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle, with APRs in the 5s. You can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right. Enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Dauntless Transmissions in Raleigh is hiring. If you're an ASE certified automotive technician looking to make good money, have a guaranteed 40-hour work week, and get paid every Friday, check out this opportunity. Dauntless Transmissions is a small family-owned shop with a quality-first attitude in need of technicians with experience doing minor engine work. Happy to train the right candidate further on transmissions. If you're ready to be appreciated and duly compensated for your automotive abilities, call or apply now at dauntlesstransmissions.com.
Hey everybody, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. I'm ready for more NFL, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is continuing its special offer to keep us watching more. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with your YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account, a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. But I need you to head on over to FanDuel.com/Paul, Paul with a capital P, and download America's #1 sportsbook. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Zero Res. Kick football season off with a deal this month from Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpets cleaned starting at $119 and 25% off your air duct cleaning. Visit them online today at ZeroResRaleigh.com.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Thursday. We woke up today in a whole new world. The Pac-12 is climbing back towards maybe potentially one day having 12 again. The Pac-12 is up to 6. And first of all, let me just say this. I respect the heck out of it. Shout out to Oregon State and Washington State for not just willowing over and joining the Mountain West. They want to try to protect their Power 5 conference ability, and they're going to fight and claw and scratch, and I respect it. I will criticize them for not starting the fight earlier. Waiting until now has put them in a really tough situation, and it's something that, I mean, we ACC fans, right? We're an ACC country, can recognize and almost see that the ACC is being more proactive. I'll explain that in a second. But if you haven't seen the news, it's Boise State, it's Colorado State, it's San Diego State, and it's Fresno State. And they are all joining Oregon State and Washington State in the new Pac-12.
Look at the Mountain West and the Pac-12 shaking hands with each other.
I doubt Mountain West is very excited about this.
Yeah.
There's probably some exit fees that they're going to have to pay. But either way, they're up to 6. You want a fun fact? You want something that makes you go, No real point here, but I want to pass it along.
Hit me with it.
All of the schools have state at the end of their name. Only 3 of them are named after actual states. Colorado is a state, Colorado State. Oregon is a state, Oregon State. Same with Washington State. Fresno is not a state, yet Fresno State. Boise is not a state, yet Boise State. And San Diego is not a state, yet San Diego State.
So basically what you're telling me is the goal here to make the Pac-12 once again is that the 6 remaining teams that have to join all need to have the last name state.
Just throw it on there.
So North Dakota State, Idaho State.
If Hawaii wants to join, Hawaii State. Just do what you got to do. And it doesn't matter if you're named after a state or not. Doesn't matter if you're named after a state or not. Just
Florida State.
I actually kind of want if they divide up into divisions, I want to have the states and the non-states.
Okay.
One of them would be Washington State, Oregon State, Colorado State. The other would be Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State.
Their version of the Atlantic versus the Coastic.
Again, this is completely nonsense. I just found it like a fun fact for you. The first person that sent me this, right, because when you work in sports and this news breaks, people start texting you things. The first one said was, "It looks like the old WAC." You might be too young to remember the WAC. The WAC, Western Athletic Conference, used to be awesome.
I'm just familiar with the MAC.
Yeah, exactly.
MAC
it was like a Pac-12 After Dark Offensive Explosion edition of the MAC. You know how the MAC is a Group of 5 school, or a Group of 5 conference, but it has an identity, right? It's the Tuesday-Wednesday league. It's the play in bad weather league. It's like the mini Big Ten. The WAC was tropical locations. It was the Pac-12 offense-defense ratio, meaning a lot more offense than defense, maybe even more so, and it created some stars. So if this Pac-12 turns into what the old Western Athletic Conference used to be, it won't be the best football. Let's just be clear. It will not be the best football. But it is literally what made me, meaning somebody that has since made a career out of it and dedicated decades of my life to playing it. The WAC, the old WAC, literally is what made me fall in love with offensive football. I was growing up in Hawaii at the time. This is when Boise State had Dan Hawkins and Chris Peterson as their coach, so they were running through, undefeated, multiple times. We're talking the Boise State over Oklahoma Fiesta Bowl years. That's out of the WAC.
Ooh.
This is when Hawaii had Colt Brennan and June Jones, and were breaking every single passing record. This is when Nevada in the WAC introduced the pistol. They were the first team to widespread use the pistol. There was innovation happening everywhere. Houston, UTEP, Louisiana Tech, San Diego State. These were the teams that got together for the WAC. If this turns into that, it is so smart.
By the way, you mentioned about how the Mountain West is probably not too happy about having to pay some exit fees. How about this? Each school will be required to pay a $17 million exit fee for a planned leave more than a year in advance.
Beautiful. Keep that stat. We'll come back to it. If this ends up being what the WAC was, it'll be a very smart move because it'll be entertaining. It'll be late night football. It'll feel Pac-12 after dark, and it'll be something that like a CW or maybe an ESPN wants for their lesser channels, and it'll be worth it. And they will survive. And if they get 2 more schools, they get their conference champion bid into the college football playoff back. They need 2 more. Here's where they went a little wrong. And here's where the Pac-12, as much as they fight back, the ACC is in a so much better place than they were. The ACC added SMU, Cal, and Stanford. Okay, they did that this past offseason. They're already entrenched members. They've signed. They've played games. It's real. We saw them at ACC kickoff. All settled. If the Pac-12 would have added these 4 schools, if they would have added Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State before everyone left, the way the ACC has added teams in case people leave, Stanford and Cal don't leave. If the Pac-12 added Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State 3 years ago, I don't think Stanford and Cal leave. And then it does kind of feel like the old Pac-12. Then you still have Oregon State, Washington State, Stanford, and Cal. You have the minimum number already without having to add anybody. You would already have the minimum number to keep your college football playoff entry. This year, you would have still been a Power 5 conference. So the problem was you didn't add these teams proactively before the wheels fell off. The ACC has added SMU, Cal, and Stanford as a contingency in case the wheels fall off. So let's say Clemson leaves. Let's say Florida State leaves. They come up with the $500 million to bounce. They go get their private investment money and leave. The ACC doesn't have to end up where the Pac-12 did. It doesn't become a full-scale panic where everybody is running for every lifeboat because you have stability in numbers. Now, because the ACC is smart, Stanford and Cal can't go back. I bet you if you injected truth serum into Stanford and Cal's decision makers, presidents, athletic directors, they would say, like, hey, if we could go back to the Pac-12 tomorrow, we would. But they can't because the ACC proactively grabbed them to give them strength in numbers. They can't because leaving the ACC costs $500 million. How much did you say it costs to leave the Mountain West?
$17 million.
$17 million. The ACC, for all of their flaws, and there are plenty, for all of their mistakes, and there are plenty. Signing up the media rights until 2036 so you're operating at a discount. All of these things, adding teams maybe for basketball when they should have been thinking more football. All of these mistakes they made, not adding certain teams over the years when they should have. When they should have grabbed West Virginia, when they should have grabbed maybe a team like UCF, when they should have grabbed maybe a team like BYU. They didn't, which are mistakes. But the two things they've done very well are not wait until the bleep absolutely hit the fan to start fighting like the Pac-12 did. Pac-12 waited until there were 2 schools left without a home to finally start fighting today. And the other thing they did that's so genius is make it so darn expensive to leave. Even SMU, who's supported by billionaires. Matter of fact, I want to look up the ESPN article because there was an article on the homepage of ESPN the other day, and just the headline made me chuckle. Now it's not going to pop up. Oh, here it is. The headline. This is it. Written by Dave Wilson, ESPN.com. OS -- which means oh bleep. Here come all the billionaires, how SMU came back from the dead. That's the headline. That was on the headline of ESPN.com. So even SMU, who is all the billionaires, even Stanford, who has the endowment of a small country at their disposal, the cash is crazy. All the Fortune 500 companies that have been formed on the class break of genius Stanford people, Cal, Silicon Valley, right, Bay Area, even those 3 schools can't really afford to fund their athletic program to leave the ACC. So I respect what the Pac-12 is doing, and I hope the Pac-12 turns into the old WAC. Go get Hawaii. Go get Nevada. Go get a Houston, right? I hope the Pac-12 turns into the old WAC because that would mean they're still around, and that would mean they're still entertaining. And I think college football is better when the Pac-12 exists. But they waited too long to start making these moves. And you start to see how a conference like the ACC or Big 12, who may have found themselves in a similar situation a couple years in the future, have already started building the blockades to stop it from happening.
Here's a scenario that I want to throw out there for you, Tim.
Well, let's do it.
And tell me if I'm just talking with my foot in my mouth. Look at what the ACC did. As far as the blueprint they now have, where even though we don't acknowledge it, it's the all-coast conference now between
the ACC,
Cal, Stanford, and now SMU a part of it. Who's to say the Pac-12 with this new rendition of the Pac-12 doesn't try to model that blueprint and try to go get some teams like, for example, you were talking about the old WAC teams.
Yep.
Try to get UTEP back. Try to get a North Texas. Try to get a Nevada, Las Vegas, like some of those areas and some of these just blueprints of these non-Power 4 schools.
I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility, but I do think you have to look at the size of the athletic programs. It's one thing to ask Louisville and State and Carolina and Duke and Syracuse and Florida State to have the travel budget to send teams to California. It's a whole other deal to ask San Diego State and Colorado State to have the travel budget to send their teams from California to Florida to Texas to everywhere else. I'm not saying they won't, and I think if they got a commitment from a media rights company, a streamer, like a streaming company or a major network, they would be much more open to like, all right, yeah, we're going to get you a bunch of money on this TV deal, but you got to spend some to get UTEP or Texas San Antonio or one of those schools in the Rice into your I'm just naming teams in Texas now. Sam Houston State. If we're going to give you a bunch of money, we might ask you to spend some. But if they're not making a ton, I don't think those travel budgets would handle it, especially when you're also having to come up with NIL money for players to, hopefully win some darn things and not just make it to a college football playoff because they have 8 teams, but maybe compete for one of those games, get a win there, which would change everything. Either way, I mean, we complained a ton that the Pac-12 was gone. At least there'll be someone flying that flag, right? At least there's somebody on that pirate ship with the Pac-12 flag flapping in the breeze. Won't be the Pac-12 that we knew, but still, I hope they still play the Pac-12 championship in the Coliseum.
I just like the idea of coming home at like midnight or something after a night out of the town, being responsible, of course, and there's college football on my TV that's running until about 1 or 2 in the morning.
Absolutely. Pac-12 After Dark is an institution, although now with everyone having West Coast, we could have ACC After Dark.
Yeah, that is true.
It kind of changes things. The other part that, and this is, again, just me being like a college football historian and wanting to I don't know, have it like we had it as kids. I kind of hope they go back to the Rose Bowl being one of the better Big Ten teams and one of the better Pac-12 teams, and just having it be like
Michigan versus Boise State.
Exactly, like Michigan against San Diego State in the granddaddy of them all.
One side of the field's Navy blue, the other side of the field's the Boise State blue.
Look at this. It's going to be Boise State taking on Ohio State in the Rose Bowl.
Fresno State
against Penn State.
And that's
or it could be like Oregon against Fresno State.
That's the other thing. The Rose Bowl has to be 2 teams with states at the end of their names.
Also true. Penn State, Michigan State. There's options there. Ohio State. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's stop talking about college football nationally and narrow it down to North Carolina Central visiting UNC this weekend. UNC, first of all, and this was brought to my attention today. This is the first time these two programs have ever met?
First time ever the two teams have met despite the campuses only being 12 miles apart.
That seems ridiculous. But I will say there's history in college sports that aren't always proud of. I speak from a little bit of experience. I was around at the University of Delaware the first time in, I think it was like 50-something years, that Delaware and Delaware State played a regular season game against each other. And there's obvious that. I'm talking about that now, not I don't know the history of UNC and NC Central, but that was a predominantly white institution in a historically black college or university, and so PWI HBCU, and there were obvious undertones on why that game hadn't been played for 50 years then, and it became a celebration of the state when those schools could now get together, and it ended up being something really cool. The bands would play at halftime together, even though they were very different bands. There were trophies involved and honorees and things that happened in that game. So I hope that UNC and NC Central can become something that the community is proud of. I'm not saying they have to play it every year, but I always say in college the cool thing should happen at least every 4 years, because then every player, if you go there and graduate, will experience it at least once. My first high school they played the band, got to play in the Rose Bowl parade, and they did it once every 4 years. So if you were in the band all 4 years of high school, you'd get to go once. And I kind of think those things should happen more in college and high school.
And it's not like North Carolina Central is a program to sneeze at. I mean, Trey Oliver has built a powerhouse in the MEAC. Matter of fact, the Eagles are the favorite to win the Mid-Eastern Atlantic Conference
old MEAC
for the second straight season. And you got to remember, in 2022 in the old Cricket Bowl, the HBCU National Championship game, they spoiled Jackson State's undefeated season. Remember who the head coach was at Jackson State at the time and who the quarterback was?
Prime time.
Deion Sanders and his son.
So, if you're beating, obviously, Nebraska and a few other teams have shown that they're not invincible. But at the FCS level, Deion and Shador were pretty darn impressive. On the UNC side of things, which, by the way, all of that is true about NC Central. I used to cover the MEAC. I covered the MEAC because we were covering Norfolk State. So I know all about NCCU. On the UNC side of things, I think they have 3 goals for this weekend. First, obvious, win by a bunch, right? As great as Central is, and as good as they are at their level, UNC obviously plays Power 4 major conference football, and you're going to expect to win by a bunch. That's there. 2, keep developing the offense under Connor Harrell. What is it? What does it mean? What is your go-to? When you need a first down, how do you get there? Do you trust on 3rd and long Connor Harrell to drop back and sling it, or once you get to 3rd and long, are you about finding a comfortable place to punt? Figure out who you trust, how you trust them, and what you do best. And then lastly, get healthy. Last week against Charlotte, another team that they would probably expect to be a class better than, Kamen Rucker was out. I believe he's still out. Tweaked something in the weight room. Is going to be out 2, 3, 4 weeks. depending on the healing process. Austin Blaskey, their center, helped out. Omarion Hampton helped off the field. Bryson Nesbitt helped off the field. All left the game, didn't return. Some of them may have been able to if they needed them, but they ended up not needing them in the second half. You probably shouldn't need them against NC Central either. So it's a time to be cautious because you're going to need everyone I just listed in a big way. Everyone I just listed becomes indispensable against the better teams on your schedule.
Now, one thing I will say, just building off what you said as far as keep building the offense underneath Connor Harrell, with all those guys that you just mentioned out on offense, specifically Bryson Nesbitt, do what you did last week. Keep finding the way to spread the ball out to different receivers. 10 different targets last week, if I'm not mistaken, for Connor Harrell to his receiving core.
And I know he's not maybe quite the wide receiver or the pass catcher that Nesbitt is. North Carolina might have the best tight end room in the entire country. So
John Copenhaver.
Copenhaver stepping up is, that's a luxury. Most of the time you lose a tight end like Nesbitt, you're taking a massive step back to whoever is now your kind of number one target there. Copenhaver's really good. Again, bigger dude, maybe less of a run around and catch passes guy, but you're not losing a ton there at the tight end position. So just continue to find ways to make Connor Harrell comfortable and continue to find ways to maximize the offense with him leading it. Along those lines, I just want a quick update here. Brad Johnson, the former NFL quarterback and the father of Max Johnson, the quarterback who suffered the brutal injury as the starting quarterback for UNC at the beginning of their season out in Minnesota. Brad Johnson did share on social media that Max Johnson has made his way back to Chapel Hill. It was a long road. There were multiple surgeries out there in Minnesota, but he was stable enough and they felt comfortable enough. They looked like the picture that he posted may have gotten a little private jet action his way back from the land of 1,000 lakes. But it's great that Max is now back in Chapel Hill. He can obviously get the trappings of home and the comfort of home, and it's probably a better headspace for him to relax and, quite frankly, get better, which is a very important thing to do. So we're rooting for him there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings Sportsbook. A TD, a tutty, a touchdown, pay dirt, the promised land, the end zone, whatever you call a touchdown, they matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. If you're ready to place your first NFL bet, try betting on something simple, like a player to score a touchdown. For tonight's game, the Miami-Buffalo game that we're going to talk about a little later, how about this? I'll just give you some anytime touchdown scorer odds. Jalen Waddle, plus 150, right? We talk about with DraftKings Sportsbook, maybe you doing your own touchdown dance. Jalen Waddle's touchdown dance, the little penguin waddle, kind of hilarious. James Cook, plus 145, the running back for Buffalo. I don't know what it is about it, but I keep coming back. I keep wanting to tell you Keon Coleman's touchdown odds. The rookie wide receiver for Buffalo, played at Florida State. Character, everybody loves his personality. He's also a pretty good jump ball threat. Plus 245 to score a touchdown is Keon Coleman. Those are just a few of the options. If you want to go make your choice, it could be one of those that I mentioned. It could be someone else. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, and you can get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms. We'll take a break. When we come back, football at 4. I'll tell you why David Tepper is an easy target, and you should all not fall into that trap. Stick around.
Football is on the menu tonight.
Showtime, prime time.
And we're serving up some fresh AFC action.
Here we go. Woo!
It's Buffalo and Miami.
Y'all know what time it is, huh?
Pregame starts at 7:30.
Hey, together, baby. We just do this one play at a time.
The NFL on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med.
We came here for one thing, to win.
99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey Raleigh homeowners, this is Keith Gregory, Vice President with Baker Home Exteriors, but more importantly, a homeowner like you. I invite you to join the thousands who have trusted us to service and upgrade their homes. We treat every home as the sanctuary it is, transforming and preserving homes with roofing, siding, doors, decks, and window services for over a century. Trust our expert team for professional installation. Visit bakerroofing.com and schedule a time with our team.
The Pack family knows Sammy's Tap and Grill is your one-stop shop for brews and bites, serving up good times for almost 25 years. Sammy's has over 40 beers on tap, so you're guaranteed to find your perfect pint and house-made food that's touchdown-worthy. For the game, Sammy's got you covered with over 60 TVs, plus you can bring your own mascot. Sammy's is pet-friendly. Come find your people at Sammy's Tap and Grill on Avon Ferry near campus. Great beer, delicious food, TVs galore, furry friends welcome. Visit Sammy'sTapGrill.com for daily specials and beer lists.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union are proud to announce the return of the Coastal Credit Union Scholar Athlete of the Month. For more than 20 years, we have honored over 200 student athletes that are making a difference on their team and in their community. If you are a teacher, parent, coach, or guardian, nominate your Scholar Athlete today. We will select one winner a month to be featured on 99.9 The Fan and on WRAL News Plus. To nominate a winner, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Congrats to last year's winners. Emma Penkunas of Holly Springs High School, Connor O'Toole of Athens Drive, Kenzie Smith of Fuquay Verena, Patience Ifadon of South Garner High, Carrie Ellen Bryan of Southern Lee, Carson Parker, Apex Friendship, Jason Howard of Wakefield High School, and Eric Stoll of Green Level. We also want to thank all of our other local schools who nominated a student: Apex Friendship, Jordan Matthews, Northwood, Green Hope High, Willow Springs, Jacksonville High, South Granville, Cleveland High, Riverside, and South Johnston.
This is Creighton Blackwell with Coastal Credit Union, and I would like to offer my sincerest thanks to every school that nominated a student for this year's award. This award is more than a celebration of exceptional athletes. It's also a celebration of the schools and the communities that helped them grow into the incredible leaders that we like to celebrate.
Congratulations to all of our Coastal Credit Union Scholar Athletes of the Month. If you want to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Mostly cloudy skies for this afternoon, and that's going to be the case really all the way into early next week. We're moving into a much different weather pattern where we'll have a slight chance of showers this weekend and then a good chance of rain early next week. This afternoon's high 81. We're in the mid-60s tonight, and tomorrow's high 80 degrees.
Weather update is brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 253 points at 41,900. This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Zero Res. Kick football season off with a deal this month from Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpets cleaned, starting at $119 and 25% off your air duct cleaning. Visit them online today at ZeroResRaleigh.com.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This may seem like I'm defending David Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers.
Whoa now.
I want to be clear, that's not exactly what's happening. Now that I've put that disclaimer out there, let's talk. Sometimes it takes a little bit of interaction with fans to kind of figure out what the pulse, even when it seems obvious, you got to figure out what the pulse of a fan base is. So someone on Twitter, I believe his name is Mike, went ahead and screenshotted part of our show, which do what you want, right? If you're watching on YouTube, you want to screenshot me in a funny little face, like, I'm mid-talking and it looks like I'm sticking my tongue out or something, go nuts. But he took a screenshot, and the caption was a question that was posed to me by Evan Cohen. So this is exactly what our content should be used for. So again, I'm not knocking the Twitter user at all. Matter of fact, it's awesome. I want more conversations about the Panthers to be taking place. You can have them on our YouTube channel if you'd like, right there on the comments page, 99.9 The Fan. Either way, picture of me, and it said at the bottom, this was a question that was asked to me by Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike when he joined the show earlier this week. It said, did the Panthers ruin Bryce Young, or is Bryce Young ruining the Panthers? Right, a little chicken or the egg kind of conversation. That's what it said. And because I was tagged in it, I got every single response. Ding, notification, ding, notification, ding, notification. So I was kind of forced. I was kind of forced to read what everybody had to say. And it became wildly clear that while the responses ranged a bit, there was an overwhelming most popular response, which was, it's not the team as a whole, it's not Bryce, it's David Tepper. David Tepper ruined everything for the Panthers. Can I answer this, David Tepper? Neither. It's David Tepper. David Tepper. David Tepper. David Tepper. The world is blaming David Tepper. And this is why I want to jump ahead of it and say, I'm not defending the dude exactly. It is completely fair to criticize David Tepper. I have criticized David Tepper. I'm just going to call him Tepper from now on out. No disrespect intended, but I just feel weird calling him by his full name.
The Tep.
The Tepster, the Tepperoonie, the Tepmeister. I'm not asking you to stop criticizing Tepper. But I am asking you to open up your blame pie a little bit. Don't let everyone that works for David Tepper skate by scot-free because it's so easy to just say it's the owner's fault. Tepper can hire the wrong candidates for major positions. Tepper can be impatient. He can meddle in personnel. He can do all the things that deserves the criticism that owners get. But when it boils down to it, he isn't the one that fumbled the ball when Jonathan Mingo got tackled. And I don't care if your coaching's bad. I don't care if your roster management is bad. I don't care if the management of the stadium is bad. I don't care if the owner threw a drink on an opposing team's fan. When you're a football player and you have the ball in your hands and you're being tackled, there's one person responsible for the ball security, and that's Jonathan Mingo. Tepper isn't the one that overthrew Deontay Johnson on the first offensive play. Now, maybe he hired the coach who didn't call a good play, or maybe he hired the general manager who didn't trade for the right personnel. Maybe Tepper did that, but in that moment, there's only one person responsible for the ball security when you're throwing a pass over the middle and you know it can't be high and you know it can't be behind, and that's the quarterback. That's Bryce Young. He isn't the one that couldn't call an offensive play to scheme anyone open into time and space for the running backs or the receivers. That's Dave Canales. It's usually it's the quarterback who gets all the blame or all of the credit. And that's never fair either. But when it's the owner, it feels like such a magnetic force, and it's so easy, and it's so much of like a mob mentality where one person goes, Tepper stinks, and someone else is like, yeah. That all of the attention gets put there. That week one, there's a lot of people to blame for that. How you got here last season, there's a lot of blame to go around for that. It's not just Tepper. It is Tepper, but it's not just Tepper.
So, yeah, just to play devil's advocate a little bit, Tim, and going back to what you mentioned this past Monday as far as, and I get it, players make the plays, coaches make the call. But it's like you said on Monday. You have one bad game, or you have one bad play, you look at the player. You have one bad game, you look at the coach. You have one bad season, you look at the general manager. You have multiple bad seasons, then who does it ultimately end up falling on?
You look at the owner, and you can you can blame the owner. Blame Tepper all you want. But that's not a get-out-of-jail-free card for everybody else, right? Like if Bryce Young were cut today, right, and maybe that would be a Tepper decision. If David Tepper said, I'm done with him, release him, I don't care how much money it costs me, Bryce Young would be claimed by every team in the league, right? Every single team would want to get their shot at reclaiming whatever potential Bryce Young had. And when he's there, they're going to expect him to not miss late and high over the middle on crossing routes and to not throw interceptions. Now, because he did it in a Panthers uniform, we want to blame Tepper for it. But if he went somewhere else and did it, it couldn't be Tepper's fault, could it? The blame pie in the NFL is very, very big. And you can give a big old slice of that to Tepper, or to Dan Morgan, or to Dave Canales, whoever you want to. But there's plenty to go around for everybody else. It's I don't know why this is the example popping into my brain. Have you heard of the movie Geely? Geely.
Can't say that I have.
It is probably 99, 2000-ish, but it starred Ben Affleck. And it's one of the I don't even think I've ever seen it, but it's one of the ultimate worst movies of all time. Remember Razzies? I don't know if they're still around. They used to give out these awards for the worst movie and worst actor, and it was like the opposite of the Oscars. If I'm not mistaken, that movie swept through everything, and it's always attached to Ben Affleck because he's the star. He was the it guy at the moment, whatever it is. You know what? There was a director involved in that. There were co-stars involved in that. There were a producer that said, yeah, this will be a great movie. We should cast Ben Affleck. There were lighting directors and props guys, and all of this came together to make the bad movie. Sure, probably the producer or the director would be the one most to blame, or maybe Ben Affleck is the one most to blame. But everybody's to blame. You don't become the worst team in the NFL, which the Panthers were last year, and they didn't look very different this year, without help. What's the you know this?
Okay.
What's the new Morgan Wallen song?
There's so many. I had some help.
I had some help
with Post Malone. Okay,
something about I
Is this
couldn't
the theme song for the Carolina Panthers.
I couldn't
this
make
year?
this mess all by myself. I had some help. Something like that I just heard it the other day.
So I had some help and buy me a drink can be the
There you
two
go.
anthems for the Carolina Panthers this season. I get what you're saying though.
It's David Tepper had some help getting here. David Tepper had some help. So I'm not asking you to change how you're treating Tepper at all. What I am asking you to do is keep your eyes open to everybody else. Right? I almost want to go full. I always use the movie references when Graham's here. The Denzel Washington, Remember the Titans? Petey, my blockers were bad. Your blockers were bad.
You're killing me, Petey.
Your blockers don't have anything to do with you holding on to my football.
You're killing me.
I feel like going up to the Mingos or going up to the JC Horns or whoever got beat, whoever didn't have a good day, and having them go my owner's bad. Your owner's bad. Your owner doesn't have a darn thing to do with you holding on to my football. Your owner doesn't have a darn thing to do with man-to-man, you guard that guy and that guy beating you. Matter of fact, I'm going to use a quote from let me make sure I can find it first.
While you find that, I just want to bring up something just to show some fan engagement for everybody that's watching us on YouTube. We appreciate it. Ryan Mewborn brings up this this interesting fact, or not fact, but just idea. I know Tepper is disliked, but I thought everyone was saying this season it seemed like he was stepping back and letting Dan Morgan and Dave Canales do their thing. But I thought
maybe
to Ryan's point, I remember at training camp when a lot of people were asking him, when a lot of people were asking David Tepper, or maybe it was at Dave Canales' introductory press conference. A lot of people wanted David Tepper to speak, and the Tepster said, "I'm not doing any media availability."
Maybe he is taking a step back. Maybe you blame him for that. Right? It's the butterfly effect thing. Like, who's to blame? Well, you want to blame Bryce. Okay, well, who chose Bryce? All right, it was Scott Fitterer. All right, well, Tepper hired Scott Fitterer, so it's Tepper's fault. Or Tepper wanted Bryce. Okay, well, who's to blame for Tepper? Well, that's probably the business guy that did. All right, we actually blame the business guy that helped David Tepper make his billions. Oh, but that guy was only around because, you can go as far back as you want. Everyone, at some point, you have to not blame somebody else and just take ownership of it. Jadeveon Clowney, according to Joe Person, who covers the team for The Athletic, just earlier today, this is a tweet from 14 minutes ago. Jadeveon Clowney said the Saints imposed their will on the Panthers last week when New Orleans ran for 180 yards and 4.9 yards a carry. Clowney was asked about the key to run defense. This was Clowney's answer. It doesn't matter what the call is. You just have to whip somebody's butt in front of you. Part of it is that. Part of it is I don't care what your owner said or does. I don't care if your owner picked the wrong quarterback. Let's say David Tepper was the guy. And this is what shout out to somebody on Twitter as I just brought it up. Fathom Fisher on Twitter said Tepper is the one very obviously wanted Bryce Young. All right. Let's blame Tepper for the offense. What about the fact that Derek Carr roasted your defense? What about the fact that they didn't force a punt or whatever it was until Haener was the quarterback at the end of the game? What about that? You're so in on just Tepper's the worst. I hate Tepper. Tepper's the worst. Tepper picked Bryce. Tepper's the reason we don't have Stroud. Tepper, that you completely missed the fact that your defense was gosh awful in week 1. And as good as C.J. Stroud is, I'm a big fan. I think he's a future MVP candidate. I think he's going to be around for a long time. As good as C.J. Stroud is, he's not tackling Rashid Shaheed on a 50-yard touchdown. Tepper stinks. I got you. But he didn't make this mess all by himself. Dude had some help. I think that's the Morgan Wallen and Post Malone song I heard the other day. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group. Listen, you can blame whoever you want for why your money is or isn't where it should be, but there's no excuse for not knowing what's going on with your cash. And that's one of the main core components of Capital Financial Advisory Group is putting you in control of your finances. Your retirement account shouldn't be something that you check up on once and then you just go, I assume my money person is doing what they should be. Capital Financial Advisory Group and Coach Pete want to teach you how to make sure you are on top of everything. They'll help you. They'll be there every step of the way. They can explain things. They can show you the ropes. And quite frankly, they can do all of the work for you if you want. But you should never be in the dark. How many fees are coming out of your account? What's the commission that's coming out of your account? Is there a commission that's coming out of your account? How much risk are you exposed to? You should know all of these things, and if you don't know all of those things about your retirement account, I'm about to give you a phone number that you want to keep in mind. And then on top of that, if you tell them you heard about it from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan, not only will you get the complete and total 22-step process to double-check your retirement account and the fully customized and total retirement plan, they'll also hook you up with the 7 Baby Steps box set for free or one of his best-selling books for free. Those are Coach Pete's best-selling books, written 6 of them. The number to call is 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215. Let them know you heard about it from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan. Or you can just text my name. This might be a little easier for you if you're a texter. Just text Tim, T-I-M, to 600-700. That's Tim to 600-700. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with Cons and Cons What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about when it comes to those Panthers we were just talking about? Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Yes or no, that's all we're allowed to say.
Jeez.
All of us. Did Michelle Smallman jinx the Packers? CC, yes or no?
No.
Thank you, CC.
Nuno. Yes.
No.
Jovante.
Yes. Jovante.
Clearly yes. Evan. Yes.
I want the apology to be as loud as the accusations when Jordan Love comes back and the Green Bay Packers are just fine.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey. And at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, we understand your concerns when it comes to buying an engagement ring. Am I paying too much? Am I getting a quality diamond? Will she love the ring? Rest assured, we prioritize your happiness as much as the exquisite diamonds we offer. That's why we provide unparalleled guarantees to give you peace of mind. First of all, we offer an incredible 30-day money-back guarantee. Secondly, with our unique 100-day price protection, we promise you'll get the best price, quality, and value. But if you find a better offer, we'll match it and give you 10% of the difference. But we don't stop there. We also offer an unprecedented lifetime diamond guarantee. It's our way of giving you confidence throughout all of your cherished moments. We've been locally owned since 1948 and voted the best jeweler year after year. At Bailey's, we're not just selling jewelry. We're providing a legacy of trust. We invite you to shop with us and experience the difference.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season, and that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Hello? Hey, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. Did you know we've got you fully covered?
I've taken up beekeeping. I'm always covered.
I'm talking the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage at up to half the cost.
Same honey, half the work?
Exactly.
Sweet.
Just call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
This question is probably more difficult than it should be after one game in the NFL schedule. What are you most confident when it comes to the Carolina Panthers? It's cons and cons. Cons meaning confidence, cons meaning concerns. We do this every Thursday. What are you most confident in, and what are you most concerned about when it comes to the Panthers? We have our 2 answers. As always, you can jump in the YouTube chat, comment your answers. You can also send them to me on Twitter at Donnelly Sports. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? And also, as always, hey, I got good news and bad news. Which do you want? You always say bad news, right? Bad news first, then hit me with the good news. So we'll start with our concern. Graham, this is going to be like a who's on first situation.
Okay.
My concern is confidence.
Interesting, all right.
I'm concerned about the confidence of the Carolina Panthers after week 1. The thing I've heard most, right, because sometimes I worry we're too close. Sometimes I worry, like, you know, we talk about the Panthers every single day. I watch every single play multiple times for the Panthers. Like, I worry about it being like too close. So I reach out for opinions and reached out to a couple former college football players, former NFL players. The thing I hear most from those guys about Panthers week 1 against the Saints is they're surprised how a week 1 you could be non-competitive. They weren't surprised that the Panthers got beat by that much at some point this season. They were surprised that it happened in week 1 because week 1 is inherently a lot of feeling out the process. It's like the first round of a 12-round boxing match. It's a lot of jabs. You're not really throwing a lot of haymakers unless
Bouncing
you're like
around.
Mike Tyson. There's getting a feel for it. All right, how are they going to attack me? What's their scouting report say? Let me see. The other thing that it comes with, and if you've listened to Aaron Rodgers, I watched Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show. I watched Bill Belichick on the Manning cast. If you listen to some of the Tom Brady on, he mentioned him when he was talking about college football, I believe with Joel Klatt. The word they used is unscouted looks. Basically saying you go into week 1 of the NFL season anticipating the other team doing something you've never seen before because they've had an entire offseason to put new wrinkles in, and they definitely wouldn't have broken them out in the preseason. So you almost have to be prepared for anything. They call them unscouted looks. So you probably aren't as aggressive as you possibly could be because you have to be on edge for anything. The fact that the Saints threw knockout blows so early, I don't believe that was their intention. I almost think they stumbled into it and suddenly were up 30 and they're like, look at that. I don't even know. So with week 1 being that brutal, I'm worried that the Panthers are going to be, gosh, that was our good game plan. The heck's going to happen now? Saints weren't even that good. We weren't that impressed with them on film. Now Derek Carr is great and all, but now we got to go face Justin Herbert. Eesh. Like the Saints defensive line is solid. Now we got to go face a Bosa and Khalil Mack. And I'll tell you right now, if your confidence level is at going into an NFL game, that's not where you want to be. So my concern is confidence. That's a who's on first little hard to explain deal. Graham, what's your concern with the Carolina Panthers?
What does this music bed say at the beginning? But to play great defense, it all starts with one thing above all else.
Confidence.
It's a W. Well, they don't have a W right now, so it has to be confidence. But for me, my concern is the defensive woes. Sort of like similar to what you brought up in our Football at 4 segment. The defense allowing over 200 rushing yards and making Derek Carr just look like an MVP caliber quarterback. Very concerning. They couldn't stop the Saints on the ground. And with J.K. Dobbins, as you mentioned, coming into town, the front seven will really need to step up and answer, and will have to answer for their sins last week to avoid another poor defensive showing.
I do like the quote from Jadeveon Clowney earlier today of just, like, stopping the run game is about you just whipping the butt of the person in front of you. Stopping the run, and you know, true hoopers, and I know we got a lot of hoopers in this area, will understand. It's like rebounding in basketball. Sometimes you just got to want it more, right? Just stopping the run, sometimes you just got to want it more than the person in front of you. Like, you know it's going to stink. If you're a defensive tackle, your job stinks. You're just running full speed in a small enclosed space into the strongest guys on the field, the interior offensive line. And you just have to do that over and over again to stop the run. It's like rebounding. You box out every single shot. Great day, you walk away with 10 rebounds. Great day. Got to stop the run. And that'll make them more one-dimensional, and then you can pin your ears back and rush and do a few more things. Speaking of the rush, you know who my confidence is as we transition to the optimistic side of things?
Let me hear it.
Eku Leota.
Okay.
Eku Leota had 3 tackles for a loss, 4 tackles, and a sack in week 1. He is the only player that got the quarterback on the ground, the only player that registered a sack. He had a good preseason. It's always good to find a diamond in the rough. And maybe it's not a diamond. Maybe it's some other jewel, some other gem. And like if he can be your 3rd or 4th edge rusher for the next few years, that's awesome. That's finding value where you didn't think there was any. I think they have issues with just about everyone else other than maybe Clowney on their edge rushing side of things. But Eku Leota, to me, has established himself. I'd start him this week just to let everybody know if you have a great game, we'll reward you with playing time.
Well, I mean, really, you got to find any diamond in the rough right now in this situation for the Panthers edge rusher. You need to find a guy that can step up, especially with the uncertainties revolving or surrounding Derek Brown right now and his injury.
I mean, it's not even an uncertainty. He's out for the season. He's on season-ending IR. So you're going to have to find production at the defensive line somewhere. If it can be Leota, even though it's very different, right? That's, Derek Brown is maybe the ultimate run stuffer, best run defending interior defensive lineman perhaps in the league. Leota more of the edge. But if he can bring anything from what the expectations were for Leota a month ago, it's something I would be extremely confident in. They got better. Like I'd be confident saying that if Leota ends up being something special. What's your confidence?
I'm calling it audible.
You're calling
I'm calling an audible for my confidence.
Easy. That's what we used to say to let the line know a change was coming. Easy.
So this is about to be just off the top of the dome because my confidence was going to be Bryce Young's potential to bounce back, but I feel like I'm just getting.
Ooh.
I feel like I'm just getting.
You would have heard from some people on the YouTube comments and Twitter.
And I started thinking about it. I feel like I'm just getting red in the face, blue in the face each time I try to convince myself that Bryce Young's breakout game is coming upon us. And
hey, don't let the people change you. If you believe it, say it. But if you don't truly believe it, then you can back down.
That's the thing, Tim. After this past week, I don't really know if I believe it. So instead, my confidence is you're going to see a lot more commitment to the run game since they didn't really commit to it at all this past week. And Dave Canales even said once they dug too big of a hole for themselves, it kind of forced them to pivot away from the original game plan. Now, I don't know how that was the original game plan when you came out on the very first play of the game, of the new season, and threw a pass, but I want to see Chuba Hubbard more. I want to see Miles Sanders. I know we're still waiting for Jonathan Brooks to get healthy, but I want to see more out of the run game this week, all right? Because I feel like with the Los Angeles Chargers, they're going to be a very physical team. They're going to try to establish the run, so I want to see you go toe for toe with their run game.
You can stop the music now because you just tipped me off on something I wanted to talk about this week. I'm not sure if we did.
Record scratch.
But let's go ahead and nerd out on this a little bit. I hate the first play call. I hated the not easy pass for Bryce Young on the very first offensive play. Dave Canales has been maybe over the top with telling us he wants to stay bullish on the run. He wants to run the football. They want to be a run-first team.
The run game's going to open up the pass and play. I'm right there with you.
And to me, a 2-yard play on the first play is not a failure.
No.
A 2-yard play on the first play lets everybody get the first hit out, the first pop of your pads. Everybody can chill, and you can go from there. I think he overthought it. I think he got too cute.
I mean, if you really want to establish a pass play on the very first play of the game, I'm about to sound like Paul Ihander, who I produce for on Next Up every morning. Go with a jet sweep, like a little shovel pass, or a halfback screen. Like if you really want to just ease Bryce Young into it.
Give him a what I call a one-er run, which is you get him on the move. If your number one target, if your number one read is wide open, throw him the ball. If not, throw it away or run. Just one or run. A crossing route, a covered crossing route, not even a short crosser, not a little arrow route.
10-plus yards.
Not an under. That's a tough throw. And I know for an NFL quarterback it should be easy, but I don't care who you are. You get butterflies the first play of the season. I hate that play call so much. Doesn't excuse the players from not executing it properly, right? Just because the coach calls a play that I don't agree with doesn't mean you have to turn the ball over. But to me, Dave Canales got too cute. He thought too much. He went, oh, how awesome would it be if Bryce Young threw a 12-yard completion, a 15-yard completion to Deontay Johnson on the first play? And it's everybody does it. You walk into the Oscars with you're up for Best Actor, and you're up against Leonardo DiCaprio, and Leonardo DiCaprio ate a raw deer liver while wrapped in a bear carcass. What was that movie?
Into the Wild or something?
No, it's not Into the Wild because that's oh gosh, what? That's going to frustrate me. I'll figure it out. It was Inarritu was the director, so I know too much about the movie. Yeah, look it up. Look up whatever movie Leonardo DiCaprio won the Oscar for. But if you're going into the Oscars as a Best Actor candidate, a nominee, and you're up against Leonardo DiCaprio, who's never won an Oscar, and you know that he rolled around in the wilderness for 4 days, and he ate raw deer liver, and he lived inside of a horse carcass, and it's like the whole movie was just created to win him an Oscar, you know you're not winning the Oscar.
Well, not even that. I hate to put it like this, but I know a lot of people were giving Bryce Young heat for him laughing after he threw the interception. It almost to me seems like, all right, well, maybe he. By the way, is it Legends of Fall? No, it's not Legends of Fall.
No, hold on. Let me get back and finish my point. So if you were the other nominee and you know Leonardo DiCaprio is going to win the thing, as you're standing there, you're sitting there at your seat, and the night goes on. Guess what you're doing in your head? You're thinking of who you're going to thank. Hey, I was pretty good in my little indie comedy. The Revenant, by the way, is the movie. Thank you very much to Paul Ihander, our PD, who just texted it to me. That was going to kill me.
Shout out to Paul.
The Revenant was the movie. If you're sitting there and you start writing your speech and you start thinking of, I'm going to make a funny joke to Denzel, who's sitting in the front row, and you start thinking of it because you can't let it stop. Even though your best, smartest, everything says there's no way you're going to win, you still get disappointed when you lose. To me, Dave Canales went into week 1. First play, Chuba Hubbard off tackle. First play, we're going to run right behind Robert Hunt, our brand new $100 million guard. We're going to have him pull, and we're going to send Chuba Hubbard right behind him. That's what we'll do. And then as it got closer, it went, yeah, but how cool would it be if he threw a touchdown on the first play?
Yeah, he looks on the sideline. He's seen the play call from Bright Edzik, and he goes, "Are you kidding me?
You know what?
You want me to throw it on the first play?
You know what? How sweet would it be if at the end of the first quarter, Bryce Young was 3 for 4 with 2 touchdown passes? Oh man, you know what? We could be the hottest team in the league. All we need to do, and it's like, no, get back to your proper thinking. Don't let your imagination run wild with the craziest stuff. Go back and get to what you're supposed to do. Get to your bread and butter. Get to your identity. Run the darn football. I know you may have given up a long touchdown on your first defensive possession. Great. You don't have to get that back on the first play offensively. I don't know if you know this, but a 1-play 80-yard touchdown pass and a 12-play 80-yard drive that ends in a touchdown, both count as the same amount of points.
Yep.
Both count as the same amount of points.
Doesn't matter how you get there.
Do what you do.
I mean, that's the other thing, too. On that single drive that he had in the preseason against the Buffalo Bills, the first play of that drive was not a pass. It was a run up the middle.
Run up the middle, and it doesn't have to be up the middle. Be a run to the outside. You don't have to put a billboard out there with blinking neon signs saying, we're not doing anything special. But when you have a quarterback that's in the position of Bryce Young, maybe you don't do anything special.
You run the ball 40 times.
I can't, and a lot of times coaches go the other way too. I've gone into a lot of games where coaches are like, hey, be ready. We might run the double reverse flea flicker first play of the game. And then as you're jogging out there for the first play, and you're like, I wonder if we're going to do it. They're like, never mind, scratch it. Run 11, which is just a read keep up the middle. It's all right, fine, because they get nervous. Dave Canales probably should have got nervous. probably should have got nervous. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Quickly, let's look at tonight's game. Bills at Dolphins. Great matchup, first of all.
Yep.
And I do think there's something, I don't know if it really applies to the Panthers from this game, but it's something that applies to a team further along in a rebuild. Bills, Dolphins is a great matchup. Exciting offenses, superstar players, a couple of quarterbacks that I would say are different levels of quality right now, but they're equally famous, right? Tua and Josh Allen are very, very well known. It's also, and this is what I'm getting at, a great example of two different stages of roster building. Right? The Bills, not long ago, were very, very bad. The Dolphins, not long ago, were very, very bad. More recently, actually. The Dolphins are still at the point where they feel they need to surround their franchise quarterback with all the bells and whistles he needs. All of them. Right? It's oh, you need an all-pro wide receiver? Sure, we'll pay Tyreek Hill whatever he wants. Oh, you need more firepower? We'll draft Jalen Waddle right at the top of the draft. Oh, you need a herd of running backs in case Mostert gets hurt? We have Devon Achane. In case Achane gets hurt, we have Jeff Wilson. If Jeff Wilson gets hurt, we just drafted Jalen Wright. Like, we have a herd of running backs. We have everything you could possibly need. If they want to look into their future, look at the Bills. A few years ago, the Bills were in that stage. They made sure Josh Allen had Stephon Diggs, and they went out and signed Emmanuel Sanders as a free agent, and Gabe Davis was still around. Oh, in the backfield, they have Zach Moss, who's now the starter for the Bengals, and Devin Singletary, who's now the starter for the Giants. They had a herd. They had all of these bells and whistles. Now, Diggs gone, Gabe Davis gone, Emmanuel Sanders retired, both running backs starting elsewhere. They have some solid tight ends. They have some young wide receivers. But mostly they're looking at Josh Allen and saying, you're the driver of this offense. You got to make it happen. Those are kind of the natural stages of building an offense. You find your quarterback. Once you decide you like him, you give him all the bells and whistles. Right? You get every upgrade you can get. It's like buying a car. You want the power seats. You want the moon roof. You want the super sport. You want the neon lights. You want the extended roof rack. You want everything. We got all the bells and whistles for you. And then slowly, one by one, you take away a bell, you take away a whistle, and you see if your quarterback can keep being effective. Josh Allen can be pretty darn effective without a lot of those bells and whistles. He's in a car right now. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. When you don't get like the super souped up edition of a car, and there's like an area on the console that it looks like there should be buttons there, but there's not because you don't have the super deluxe version. It's like, oh, they're used to that. That's where the heated seats button should be. Oh, that's where the moonroof opener should be. But because you don't have any of that, it's just like a weird flat panel. That's the car that Josh Allen's driving around in now. But he's still winning races. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's tonight, by the way, and it should be a pretty fun one. Right, I think it's a good game to not have a like horse in the race. Like if you're not a Bills fan or a Dolphins fan, it's going to be a fun one to just sit back and have a little entertainment with.
I mean, it's a rematch of the divisional playoff game from last season, probably a preview of the divisional playoff matchup for this season.
I think the Jets are going to think they'll be. I guess they could still match up in the divisional round. That division is outside of the Patriots pretty darn good. Although the Patriots beat the Bengals, so maybe they're all good. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You pointed at yourself, Graham. Did you have something you need to say here, or are we good to go?
Oh, just housekeeping. That game is on 99.9 The Fan tonight. Pre-game coverage at 7:15.
When we come back, we have an official name for the building formerly known as PNC, and some more reaction to Dave Canales and the Panthers. Stick around.
Great news for you homeowners out there. Mortgage rates are tanking. Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Loan Pronto. My friends at Loan Pronto have rates that start with a 4. This is the best rate in years, folks. Listen, if your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto, they've locked in folks recently at 4.99% APR. Now, whether you got your loan last week, last month, or even last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, Stop now, give Loan Pronto a call, and ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Move your sports day forward.
The question begging an answer for the year 2 QBs in the NFL, how are these guys going to make the playmakers around them better? These first couple of games will give us an idea if the reprogramming of Bryce Young and the rehabbing of Indy's Anthony Richardson were successful. And if not, it's not good news. We'll be seeing exit hooks out sooner than later.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to perks only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using the promo code Radio1000 and you'll place your first bet today. If you win, great. If not, you'll get it back as a bonus bet up to $1,000. Must be 21 plus and physically present in North Carolina. New users only must register using eligible promo code. First bet after registration must qualify. Max bonus bet $1,000. Bonus bet expires 14 days after receipt. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full items. Tribal Casino Gaming Enterprise is a licensed operator by the North Carolina State Lottery Commission. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back. Stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right. Enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Sammy Hanna, owner-operator of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. It is open house time, Friday and Saturday. Bells, whistles, pomp, and circumstance. What do we got going on?
Adam, we're super excited. This Friday, Saturday, our open house. We only do it twice a year, so our homeowners only get 2 opportunities to come and join us. We've got food trucks Friday and Saturday. We've got an ice cream truck Friday and Saturday. We've got all of our manufacturers reps. I'll be there. Many radio hosts will be there, and it's just a great time to come out, meet our sales staff, put your hands on the product. We've got all the products. If you're interested in coming out and seeing, it's a great time to kick the tires. If you want to just come out and meet and greet and have a good time, put your name in the entry. We're giving away thousands and thousands of dollars in gift cards.
That's amazing. I saw that. Grand prize $2,500 giveaway.
It's a great giveaway.
That is a giveaway. I would say there's a talent show, but the talent show are your staff and the products, because you guys are amazing.
We're an education powerhouse.
Aluminum Company of North Carolina, 800-672-4348 on Hamlin Road in Durham. Check them out Friday and Saturday.
This hour of the drive is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. They're engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer and learn more. It's hard to stop a train.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This song Graham is playing for a reason. He incorrectly called it Buy You a Drink.
Not to be confused with T-Pain.
I thought you were talking about T-Pain. I was with it. Thought you were going back to like my high school years. Instead, you were talking, this is current, I would say Morgan Wallen?
Yep. No, Post Malone and
Malone?
Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton.
Either way, when it comes to songs about drinking, the Carolina Panthers, you put the two together, it's all the same.
They are different vibes, though. I'm just throwing that out.
I might be doing this at Bank of America Stadium on Sunday.
A little bit of it. Depending on how it goes, actually. You might want to be sober and remember it all.
Actually, you might want to celebrate because it might be one of the last times you see it for a while. But anyways.
A little bit of a quick update here just for fans, obviously, of college basketball in the area. Shams Charania, let me see who he's working for now, lead NBA insider for The Athletic, just tweeted out that Houston Rockets forward A.J. Griffin, obviously a former Duke player, is seriously considering stepping away from basketball. Sources tell Shams Charania as well as Kelly Iko. Griffin, who is still just 21 years old, was the number 16 pick in the 2022 NBA draft to Atlanta and then traded to Houston this summer. Sides are preparing for his departure from the game. That's fascinating to me. A.J. Griffin, in addition to being a knockdown shooter, at least during his time at Duke, seemed to be like a true hooper, seemed to be somebody that really loved it, was willing to play a role to do whatever it took to help his team win a game. So you hope there's nothing serious going on. You hope that he is in a good place, and obviously wish him the best. But a player 21 years old, former 16 overall picks, you expect a long career ahead of him. Looks like he may be stepping away from the game. So again, hope everything's all right there. Just wanted to pass that along. Also to pass along, it is officially the Lenovo Center. The artist, formerly known as PNC Arena, is currently the Lenovo Center. This is the arena where the Carolina Hurricanes play their home games as well as NC State men's basketball. It is a 10-year, so we're talking a decade of the Lenovo Center, 10-year agreement estimated to be around $60 million.
I'm just curious. I know Dennis Cox, who usually produces this show, put out on a poll yesterday. What's the better nickname for the Lenovo Center? You guys went with the Lenny?
The people tied with the Vo and the Lenny.
TLC, come on.
TLC, but then you get into a like people say ATM machine, even though the M stands for machine. I think you would say like I'm going to the TLC, and then the T stands for the. I'm
going TLC.
Yeah, I'll see you at TLC. It doesn't work. I think it's a little grammatically off. It'd be like saying I'm a big fan of MLB baseball. It's like Major League Baseball.
Okay.
So I don't want to say I'm going to the TLC. Like there's too many thes. I heard the Lensen. Like the Lenovo Center, the Lensen. Hadn't heard that one yet. Just saw that earlier today. I think the LC is fine. I think the Vo is fine. I think the Lenny is fine. The Lenovo Center is kind of long.
Now that I'm looking at it, I do think it's funny that one Carolina fan pointed out now's the time to finally name it Luke May Arena.
Solid zing.
Zing.
Not a bad zing at all. One might also call it the DJ Burns Dome or something like that. There's definite room for both sides of those zings. $60 million over 10 years? Lenovo better sell a lot of laptops.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know what these rights normally go for. I'm not in that world. I'm not trying to get my name on the side of a football stadium. But that seems like good money for the people that run the arena.
Yeah.
That seems like good money. And with so much money being spent on all the improvements, I'm sure every dollar is helping. So $60 million over 10 years to just go by a different name, I don't hate that at all.
And so much is getting ready to go up around PNC Arena. That's a lot of advertisement.
For $60 million, we'll change the name of this show. We'll be the Lenovo Show for $60 million.
With Tim Donnelly.
If you want to make it happen, we'll be the Lenovo Show with Lenny Donnelly. If you want to give us $60 million. I mean, they better sell a lot of There better be a lot of modems, a lot of mouses and keyboards sold.
The one thing I want to know is, where's the sign?
It's already up.
No. Where's the PNC Arena sign?
Oh.
Are we getting ready to have like a Charlotte Hornets scenario where it's just going to be on the side of I-40 one day?
Maybe in some rich guy's basement. It'll be part of the man cave. I don't know. It should go. That should go to like Eric's now because he wasn't here for the PNC days.
Rod Brind'Amour's backyard. No, actually, RBC. The RBC.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's
the wrong era. It's the wrong era there.
Backyard.
I guess it could. Yeah, put it in like Jordan Stahl's backyard or something like that. One more thing I want to bring up here: the Charlotte Hornets are going to be in the area. I don't know if you saw this yet because it's
excuse you.
It's happened just recently. But I guess the Charlotte Hornets practice facility is going through some
renovations. Yeah,
some renovations. Sheesh. I do talk for a living. I promise you. Let me make sure I have this 100% correct because I did see it. I believe. Yep, there it is. The Hornets training camp will be held in Durham at the Coach K Center, like their practice facility, essentially. So I don't think they'll be playing a ton in Cameron, but they will be having Hornets training camp here in Durham. So not only are there players like Seth Curry, Mark Williams, who played at Duke on the roster, you're also going to get to see LaMelo Ball and like all of the Brandon Williams. They'll all be coming through Durham for their training camp.
They're not slick. I know what they're doing. They're trying to get an early start on recruiting Cooper Flagg for next year's draft.
Recruiting, if only it were that easy.
Or whispering sweet nothings into his ear.
All right, here's the official deal here. Nick Carboni, sports director for WCNC. The Charlotte Hornets will host training camp at the Michael W. Krzyzewski Center in Durham, a.k.a. the K Center. Spectrum Center undergoing first round of renovations until mid-October. Hornets last went off-site for camp in 2019 at UNC, but obviously Michael Jordan was the owner then, so if they were coming to the area, they would definitely go to UNC. So the new owner shows up and says, first things first, let's go to the K Center. A little interesting there, right? As soon as Michael Jordan's not the owner, no, we're not going back there. Either way, I always think it's cool when that happens. There are a lot of areas around the country, like St. Lucie, Florida, which is spring training. For years, there was, I think it was St. Vincent's, St. something, a college in PA that the Steelers used to go for their training camp. There were all these cool spots that part of their identity was this is where the big league club comes to get ready for the season. So the Hornets come into the Triangle, show them love, right? Maybe there's a relocation 10 years from now and, 15 years from now. I don't know. But if they have positive memories of the Triangle, it can't hurt is all I'm saying.
Charlotte Hornets to the Lenovo Center.
To the Lenovo Center. Then we'd have to call it the Lenovo Hive.
Yeah. Or the Lenovo Nest.
Yeah. Hornet's Nest. God. I got stories I don't want to rehash there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The starting five is going to be coming up next, including a brand new Pac-12 that was introduced to us today. Also, follow us on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Many of you already live streaming there, but you can always comment, interact with the show. Growing community on YouTube. We want you to be a part of it. Starting five coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Carolina wins it 47-45 in double overtime.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Men, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
O'Reilly Auto Parts offers more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also test your battery, install your new wiper blades, and even diagnose your check engine light with O'Reilly VeriScan for free. For the best service, advice, auto parts, and accessories, stop by the new O'Reilly Auto Parts in Whispering Pines on Highway 22 next to Domino's.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's Bo time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bo time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bo time.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
I'm ready for more NFL. What about you? And FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, is continuing this special offer to keep us watching more. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. And then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account, a current form of payment, and you can cancel at any time. You are ready to go. Just visit FanDuel.com/AdamGold and download America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Do it now. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight. A 40% chance for some light rain after midnight. 68 the low. 50% chance for some showers and storms now for your Friday. The high up to about 82.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day up 235 points at 41,900. Market update brought to you by RDU Airport. Fly Copa Airlines from RDU to Latin America and get 2 vacations in 1. Enjoy a stopover in Panama for up to 7 days with no extra airfare. Book your Panama stopover today at copa.com. That's COPA.com. This final hour of the drive is brought to you by Zero Res. Kick off football season with a deal this month from Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpets cleaned starting at $119 and 25% off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResRaleigh.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump into the starting 5, I do want to let everybody know the spot to watch the Panther game this weekend. Briar Creek Carolina Ale House. That's where I'm going to be. Carolina Ale House is, in general, a great place to watch the game, all the food, all the drink, all the TVs. But I will be at the Briar Creek Carolina Ale House from basically at the start of the game is when you want to be there, because that's when I'll be giving away a little free appetizer here, pick up part of your tab, pick up part of your check. I'll be out there making sure everybody's having a good time, building the optimism, hopefully, for a solid game for Carolina. So that's all Briar Creek, Carolina Ale House this Sunday. If you want to say hi, you want to debate something, feel free.
Yeah, Tim.
I'd love to do that. And there you go. I would love to do that in person. So Briar Creek, Carolina Ale House, right at the beginning, right at the top of the Panther game. Now let's jump into the starting five, starting with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's a new Pac-12 as of this morning. Maybe the same Pac-12 that you thought about, maybe a little bit different, but it is a new Pac-12. It's expanding. Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State are joining Oregon State and Washington State in the Pac-12.
The Pac states.
It's a whole pack of states. That's 6 teams total now. I believe they will be on the hunt for at least 2 more. The reason being, 8 teams is enough for the Pac-12 to regain their status as a Power 5 conference, which would give them most likely a automatic entry into the college football playoff. That's very important to them. It's very important for money making. It's important for a bunch of different reasons. The stakes that your teams play for. So I would expect 2 more. I would expect them to be shopping.
So North Dakota State and Florida State next season when they finally get out of the ACC.
Florida State to the Pac-12 would be an all-timer. If that happens, please, everybody, tune into the next show of The Drive. I will be having a field day. My guess is they won't stop at 2. I think a conference of 8 is a little too small. I think they'll go to at least 10. I think the candidates you're looking for are the usual candidates. They are maybe a North Dakota State. They are Hawaii. They are maybe a New Mexico of some kind, New Mexico State.
UTEP.
UTEP would be an option. There are options out there for them to chase, and I don't think they will be shy in doing so. They are fighting. The Pac-12 is fighting for its life.
You know what I love the most? By the way, Arizona State and
Arizona, they're in the Big 12 now.
Well, Arizona State and Colorado State on tonight.
Oh,
yeah,
true.
That's right. Arizona State's in the Big 12 now. I was just going to say the one thing I love about this, Pac-12 after dark. It comes
Pac-12
back.
after dark.
See, I'm even choking up just thinking about it.
If you are a gambler that chases losses early into the night, first of all, don't chase losses. Always gamble responsibly. Second of all, you'll now have those late games. You don't have to depend on Hawaii to be playing at home to get a game that starts at 11:30. You can have a couple California teams doing it for you. The cool part about these particular teams, I believe Boise State has been clamoring to be in the Pac-12 for a long time. San Diego State probably as well. Fresno State. I think these schools at their peak, when Fresno State had maybe Derek Carr leading the way and Devontae Adams there, they were probably trying to build that type of success to get into the Pac-12. When Boise State was going undefeated, the Kellen Moore years, the Jared Zabransky years, they were probably trying to cash that in to get into the Pac-12. Is it the same Pac-12 that they were trying to get in? No. But there's some people that worked a very long time to get there. So credit to them. Unfortunately, Pac-12, you can't have Stanford and Cal back.
Nope.
ACC's got their claws in them. They have the grant of rights. There's massive exit fees to leave. You just can't have them back. A little bit of a forbidden love there, because I assume Stanford and Cal would love to be back in a Pac-12.
They're thinking crap.
And the Pac-12 would love to have them back, but the ACC is the third party that's not going to let that happen, and rightfully so. Someone should tell Florida State that's how it works. You sign a contract, you have to then honor that contract, even if you don't want to. That's how it works. That's also number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Speaking of college football, today is the day we really started, or we did. We didn't start doing it. We did it. We turned the page for the local college football teams from reacting and licking your wounds in some cases, watching the film, building off of it of last week, and now you're looking forward. We'll go in order of kickoff times. Louisiana Tech at NC State, Saturday at noon. This one is got to be a get-right game for NC State. Got to be. There's obviously has to be a win. Like, let's get the obvious out of the way. You want to stay healthy, get the obvious out of the way. That game has to be, and I don't usually say this, it's got to be a style points game.
Yeah.
Get Noah Rogers a 50-yard touchdown.
I know this is only the third game of the season for NC State, but dare I say, is it an empty-the-tank game as far as, one, if everything's clicking.
It's as needed. It's as needed, empty the tank. If in the first quarter you're up 17-0, hold back, right? Like you don't need to show everything. But I would consider like going deep into my playbook and calling my favorite plays if it's 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. I think it matters that they win that game by a lot.
Grayson McCall shows his true form, does the stuff that he became so notable for at Coastal Carolina. You get at least 10 different targets. All right, let's go.
I don't even
Connor
know.
Harrell down the road.
Okay. Actually, they're not up next to.
I was saying just target outside Casey Concepcion, Wesley Grimes, Noah Rogers, Justin Jolie. Like, just get everybody involved on offense.
I'm with that. Also, it's a Robert and Nye thing, their offensive coordinator. Every offensive coordinator has their favorite plays, right? The ones that they tend to keep in a box. They only dust it off when they need it, and they are the scheme open plays. Roll to your right, throw back to a tight end on the left, little hide action. You saw UNC was in a similar situation actually last week against Charlotte. Felt like they needed to get some excitement with Connor Harrell at quarterback. They called the reverse flea flicker, ended up being a long touchdown. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of that with State. It's important they win this game and win the game and have fun doing it, which means some cool stuff has to take place. UConn at Duke, they are actually same kickoff time as the NC Central at North Carolina game, but for some reason on the ACC, on the ESPN page, UConn at Duke's listed first, so we'll go with that. For Duke, I think they should play UConn every year.
Okay.
They played them last year, they played them this year. I don't know what it is about. I think it's obviously the basketball history and the storied, national championship winning programs, but I think they should play Duke and UConn every year in football, every year in men's basketball, every year in women's basketball. Make it a non-conference rivalry.
Are we sure this game hasn't been played at Madison Square Garden?
I wouldn't even hate that if they played it every year at Madison Square Garden. I also wouldn't hate if they did some kind of 3 games, football, men's basketball, women's basketball. Whoever wins 2 of the 3, you get home court and home field in all 3 the next year.
Oh.
Like make it into a non-conference rivalry. I don't think UConn is where Duke is as a football program. I think Duke is better. I think they should win this game, and I think they should use this game to work on their rushing attack, which worries the heck out of me. But UConn is pouring money into their program. They have a high-priced coaching staff. They have some NIL money to spend. They're trying to build things up there the right way. So hopefully, right, because you don't want to lock in a non-conference game like I'm asking you to with a bad program. Hopefully 5 years from now they're much better than they are now, and that can become a really fun rivalry. NC Central at UNC. I said it earlier. First of all, shout out to NC Central. Really nice program. This is the first time these two programs have linked up for a game, so looking forward to it. For UNC, it's a 3-parter. Number 1, win by a bunch. Same reasons I just said about NC State, right? You're playing a team from a lower division. You want to beat them up. You want to get your confidence up. 2, continue to develop what your offense is under Connor Harrell. How often do you want him running? Is it just a break glass in case of emergency deal, or is that a core part of your offense? How can you use Amari and Hampton to open up the passing game? How do you get the wide receivers more involved and not just on speed sweeps like you did last year? Keep developing the offense that you've had to pivot from Max Johnson, a pocket passer, to Connor Harrell, a guy that runs more. And then 3, get the guys that were banged up last week healthy. Omari and Hampton, banged up against Charlotte, probably could have come back into the game in the second half. They didn't need him. They opted for caution. If you can avoid getting him 20 carries, if you can get it to 12 if he plays, that's fine, right? Don't think this season is about looking your best about NC Central if it comes to playing guys. It's about being ready the next week for to kind of get your season going in a more concrete way.
Let this be the John Copenhaver breakout game.
John Copenhaver, if Bryson Nesbitt can't go, a little upper body injury, didn't come back into the game last week, the returning All-ACC tight end, Copenhaver, I don't even want to call him a backup. They're both starting tight ends. You can start two. He's good enough to be a really exciting pass catcher. Connor Harrell, young quarterback. They usually like safety blankets, love tight ends. Maybe it is Copenhaver. Maybe it's Nesbitt if he's healthy and going, but it could be Copenhaver otherwise. Wake Forest, this will be my just word of caution. Buckle up, my man.
By the way, how did this happen?
Number 5 Ole Miss.
Number 5 Ole Miss against Wake Forest in Winston-Salem.
I stopped trying to predict whatever Lane Kiffin does a long time ago, and even trying to predict what Wake Forest does. Dave Clawson, they're always kind of a wild card as well.
Forgive me for not knowing that this game was, one, not only happening this season, but two, happening in Winston-Salem.
In Winston-Salem, on the CW.
And it's on the CW?
Yeah.
How is this game not a neutral site on, ABC or something?
I don't know. Number 5 Ole Miss at Wake Forest. Again, buckle up, meaning Ole Miss is legit. They are a very, very good program. And Lane Kiffin is the kind of coach who the only thing better than a 50-point win is a 60-point win.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's what I'm predicting. I'm just saying if the game goes that way, there won't be a lot of taking the foot off the gas. He wants Jackson Dart, their quarterback, to be amongst the top stat guys in the country. He wants them to win awards. He wants them to be flashy. So wear your hard hat and be ready to make a game a fist fight, or else it can get away from you.
I'd be curious as to see where this spread is at now, because I believe at the beginning of the week, when I found out this game was happening, by the way, I believe it opened up at 21.5.
According to ESPN, I'm on their site right now, just clicked on it. It opened at 23-point favorite for Ole Miss, and it is currently 22.5. So, hey, line's moving in favor of the Deacons, the Demon Deacons. Over under, though, 64.5.
Whew.
Quite a bit of cash. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if and Hank Bachmeier, by the way, threw for 400 yards last week for Wake. So maybe they have a little bit of a shootout in them. But
they have some offense.
That game is a game. You know what I mean? You better be ready to buckle up and play some football. As number 4, let's jump to number 3. Earlier today, it was officially announced the building formerly known as PNC Arena is now the Lenovo Center. We're going to quickly address this. I'm going to ask for your forgiveness. I guarantee you a bunch of times, especially early in the hockey season, I will call it PNC Arena.
Oh, sometimes I find myself calling it RBC Center still.
Yeah. I mean, it is September. I feel like occasionally I still type the date in as 2023. So just know it's going to take me some time. I'm not doing it on purpose. To the guy on Twitter that corrects me every time I do on-air math, I'm not doing it on purpose. I promise I'm trying to get it right. Sometimes you get your brain goes a little bit faster than or a little bit slower than what you're saying. So the Lenovo Center is the official name. We've talked about nicknames. Now that we've presented them all, the Vo, the Lenny, TLC, the ThinkPad, the laptop, the Lensen, the Charger, we've presented it all. Now I think we just have to sit around and wait. Everybody's been presented all the options. We just have to see what the people use. When we're outside of the Lenovo Center for the home opener for the Canes, and we're doing our live broadcast, and fans are walking by and they're wearing the jerseys and everyone's in a good mood, we just gotta keep our ear out and see what people are calling it, and then we'll follow your lead. The people will make the decision.
Here's my prediction. It's actually going to be either Matt Chazanow, play-by-play commentator for NC State football and NC State basketball, or Mike Maniscalco, voice of the Carolina Hurricanes. Once an electric call happens and they say something authentic for the game-winning call or something, then you can timestamp it, or then you can mark it down.
Perhaps, yeah. I guess you could I still think I want the people to do it. I think even if it's Chazanow or if it's Maniscalco or whoever, I still think they have to take their lead from the fans. As long as they're not calling it. Because I thought about this the other day. There's some kind of wordplay where you could call it like the frozen laptop. Because, right, sorry, my screen is frozen. Like we're
okay.
because then he gets the ice for the canes and everything involved. But I don't think Lenovo would want that because they're probably saying like, our laptops don't actually freeze, guys. So I think we just got to naturally let it happen. We present all the options. We're as creative as we could possibly be. The Lenny, the whatever. Now we just have to listen to what the people call it. When you're going to the game and you're at work and you're like, hey, I got an extra ticket. You want to come with me to the whatever the is? We'll follow your lead.
Well, you're in for a fun hockey season because no matter what happens this year for Carolina Hurricanes games, you can come in the next day and say, that was the craziest game we've seen at the Lenovo Center.
Nah, I see what you're doing.
Just because it will be the first game. Yeah. Okay. You got it.
It's like my son is my sister-in-law's favorite nephew. She only has one.
There you go.
Or when LSU plays Clemson, I think the Tigers are going to win. There's a lot of that kind of stuff. That's number 3. Let's jump to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Bills Dolphins tonight. We have NFL football. It is a Thursday night game. Here's why I'm really excited for this game. I'm not a Bills fan. I'm not a Dolphins fan. I as of this point have not placed any wagers on either team. So I'm truly an objective bystander in this one. The reason I'm excited is these two teams have a little bit of chaos in them. Like if they're just playing it Sunday on 1 o'clock, the Dolphins have like a new motion every week that nobody's ever seen. Tua is throwing it as far as he can and letting one of those fast running backs get underneath it, fast receivers get underneath it. Devon Achane is a little chaotic. You never know if it's going to be a toss gain of 3 or a toss gain of 83. For the Bills, Josh Allen is an agent of chaos.
Yeah.
Going back to the beginning of his career.
He lives for it.
He makes like 2 or 3 plays that are just complete chaos every single game. The dive awkwardly to the end zone last week where he jumped and kind of hurdled but kind of spread his legs but kind of flipped sideways, barrel roll style. Like you see it in his eyes.
Or he takes off running and the next thing you know, he's like getting ready to run to somebody up along the sideline. You're like, Josh.
He's liable.
Josh, and the next thing you know, he's the one that knocks the person out.
He's liable to pitch it to nobody. He used to do that all the time, where he would throw like an option pitch and there was no one back there, and you could tell in his eyes he was just in like crazy mode.
Exactly right.
Both of these teams bring a little bit of chaos. Also, even if you take boring teams and play them on Thursday night, Thursday brings a little bit of chaos. You don't have as much time to prep. Your week felt like it was on fast forward. There's usually some miscues, a few maybe, old school from the wide world of sports bloopers. There's usually a few crazy things on a Thursday. So if you take the Dolphins, a little bit of chaos. You take the Bills, specifically Josh Allen, a little bit of chaos. And you put them in the Thursday night football game, which always induces a little bit of chaos. Tonight's going to be wild.
Well, here's the thing. Shout out to the NFL for learning from their past mistakes last season, because remember how much of abysmal all of the prime games were last year. And then week 2, right out of the gate, because, this is the first game, because Peacock had it last week, you get a great divisional matchup to start off the slates of Thursday night games.
There's usually, it tails off. Usually early in the year, the Thursday night games aren't bad. It's by like early November, it's going to be Titans against the
Cardinals,
Vikings.
yeah.
And Sam Darnold will come back down to earth by then. It's going to be rough.
Here's another thing. The Miami Dolphins wearing their throwback jerseys tonight.
Those are good jerseys. Those are solid jerseys. Basically what I'm saying is the reason why I'm not going to place a wager on this one, I might place a couple touchdown scores or something like that. But the reason why I'm not placing a wager on this one is because chaos there's nothing worse than losing a game because of a wild and crazy play.
Yeah.
Because an interception is returned for 40 yards, but then that guy gets tackled and fumbled, and then the other team, the offense, picks it up and returns a fumble for a touchdown, and you're sitting there like, there goes my spread.
My parlay, yeah.
Like, there's nothing worse than that, and I just think it's going to happen tonight. I think it's going to be absolutely wild, and I'll be there for it, watching. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Finally, let's get to number 1. We talked earlier about, in the starting 5, we talked about the college teams turning the page, looking towards the next game. We're doing the same today for the Panthers. Chargers at Panthers in Charlotte this weekend. Let's jump to the Dave Canales clip. This is the head coach of the Panthers on what he's been looking for out of his guys this week.
Right back to the basics, right? So that's every day, but that's particularly Wednesday because you have the Monday tell the truth. Let's look at the film. Let's talk about it. Get through it. Tuesday, big body recovery day for the guys. That's the players' day off for them to kind of regroup. Physically, mentally, spiritually. The whole thing is just to kind of regroup to be ready to take on the challenge of a new week. As we know, we got to move forward. Here comes another opponent. The guys were fired up when they got in here today, so we just go right back to the basics of ball. The football, drill it, work on it, emphasize it, come off the ball, be physical. That's why we put pads on Wednesdays, and the guys were all there and ready for it.
That was obviously his comments yesterday, post-practice. I like the idea of getting back to the fundamentals. It's never a bad idea. I've said this before, and I'll just say it one more time. Don't dumb it down, okay? Don't dumb it down. One of the mistakes I think that was made last year by the coaching staff is they kept trying to simplify, and that's not always the best the right answer, right? If you struggle, all right, let's simplify. If you struggle, all right, let's simplify. Sometimes it's just be better, not more simple, right? Sometimes it's all right, our guys are mentally there, they didn't physically execute, or okay, they're not getting it, let's help them get it so we can run the best offense. Sometimes it's your play calling can be a little bit more simple. I don't like the idea of like shrinking your playbook because you didn't do well. So go back to the fundamentals: run, block, catch, like block, dude. Yeah, I'm fine. But also realize it's the NFL, right? You're not going to win with second reference to Remember the Titans, with Denzel's character's offense from Remember the Titans. I run 6 plays just like Novocaine. Give it time, always works. Not in the NFL. You need to have variety. You need to have a lot of answers. Part of the frustrating things that Dave Canales said after the game was that he didn't give his team enough answers, right? He didn't give them enough answers in the protection game. He thought most of the sacks that Bryce Young suffered were on the coaching staff for not giving them easy enough answers. All right, fine. Give them the answers, right? Give them the answers. Give them the opportunity to change the play. Give them the opportunity to shift the protection, whatever it is. Don't simplify it and take answers away. Give them more answers. If I am the Chargers and I watch that Saints game, I'm being creative with you. I saw a team that was not on the same page in a lot of different ways. If I'm on offense, if I'm the Chargers offense, I'm running double moves. I'm running the sluggo, right? The slant and go. I'm running hitch and goes. I'm running wheel routes. I'm running guys out of the backfield and up the field. I'm running things that'll confuse you because I'm running a lot of motion because you showed you can be confused. Same thing on offense. I'm making it look like 2 safeties at the snap, rotating to 1 safety. I'm running Tampa 2. I'm doing all of the things that can confuse, disguising everything because you've shown you can be confused. And it may sound counterintuitive, but I don't think simplifying it is the way to counteract that. I think it's, guessing right and studying and maybe being even more complicated. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And the Chargers are no joke. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get Jim Harbaugh, smash mouth football. You're going to get a few plays to Ladd McConkey. You're going to get a couple of edge rushers that are really good. You know what you're going to get with the Chargers in a lot of ways. You know what you're going to get right now from the Drive because every day at this time, we need numbers game contestants. A pair of tickets to see Stained and Breaking Benjamin with Daughtry at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on Saturday, September 21st. Those are the prizes. The pair of tickets are the prize for whoever wins. If you want to play the numbers game and potentially win the tickets, you need to call in now. We need 2 contestants, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to win those Stained and Breaking Benjamin tickets. Call in now because the numbers game is coming up next.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. One thing I love about this time of year is that, with football being back, we're all kind of galvanized with our fan bases. You go to a game, you automatically have something in common with someone that's wearing the same jersey as you. You're part of that community. And this is what I love about Law Tigers. They are part of the motorcycle riding community, which is something that I'm part of. I'm very happy to be part of. And that's something that Law Tigers is going to do. They're going to have your back because, again, they wear the same jersey as you. If you are injured in a motorcycle accident, you want to call on the team, the people that have your back. This is where Law Tigers calls in. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Insurance companies want to pay the least amount possible. Law Tigers, they know what your bike is worth. They know what your gear is worth. They know what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and they do not get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Football is on the menu tonight.
Showtime, prime time.
And we're serving up some fresh AFC action.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. Woo!
It's Buffalo and Miami.
Y'all know what time it is, huh?
Pregame starts at 7:30.
Hey, together, baby. We just do this one play at a time.
The NFL on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med.
We came here for one thing, to win.
99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back. Stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right. Enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Brooks and Dunn, the best-selling duo of all time live.
Something country.
Neon Moon Tour 2025.
Urban neon.
With David Lee Murphy.
A little dust on the bottom of that red dirt road.
March 27th, PNC Arena. On sale Friday at LiveNation.com. Brooks and Dunn Live.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We now have unlimited data that never slows you down.
covered by the Verizon 5G network. And all for less than $30 a month when you get 4 lines. And the best part? We give you a free Samsung Galaxy A54 5G when you switch to the Total 5G Plus Unlimited plan. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
It is time to play the numbers game here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. The prize that is up for grabs for our 2 contestants today, a pair of tickets to see Stained and Breaking Benjamin with Daughtry at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on Saturday, September 21st. The contestants, Evan in Four Oaks and Justin in Raleigh, they are both on the line and ready to roll. We need a question to see who goes first. Graham, pay attention. You'll be the judge. Evan in Four Oaks, we're going to keep it simple today. Every time Graham's on the show, for some reason I make a lot of movie references, so we'll go there. What is the best sports movie of all time, according to Evan in Four Oaks?
Little Giants, of course, with the fridge and all of that. It's a great underdog story as well.
I have to ask. I've seen Little Giants a few times. Did you mean the Icebox?
Icebox, that's what I meant.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, man, it's fine. Just want to make sure I was in the same area with you.
Icebox. Yep.
Icebox and Spike and the crew.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and jump to Justin and Raleigh, see if they can beat the Little Giants. Justin and Raleigh, what is the best sports movie of all time, according to you?
I'm going to keep it local and go with Bull Durham.
Bull Durham. Two very, very different answers.
Wow.
Graham, I'll give you 30 seconds here to debate. Bull Durham, obviously, that's like a fantastic film. Little Giants is, nostalgia through the roof.
I'm here to announce my presence with authority.
All right.
I feel bad, though, just because when I was trying to get Evan connected on the line for whatever reason, I guess I'm deaf. Maybe I need to turn my headphone dial down a little bit. So I'm going to go with Evan just because I was giving him such a hard time
All right.
trying to figure out where Four Oaks was.
Has nothing to do with even the movies. Just sorry, Justin. Tough break. But either way, Evan gets to go first. So Justin, go ahead and sit on the line. We'll give you your chance. Don't worry, it'll be completely fair. In the meantime, Evan, are you ready to pick your category?
Yes, sir.
All right. The NFL, we threw a pass, but not quarterbacks. So these are all NFL players that have thrown a pass, but are not quarterbacks. NFL octopus scorers. This means players that scored a touchdown and then immediately scored the ensuing 2-point conversion. So they got the 8 points. We call them octopus scorers. NBA current players only or NHL Canes and Whalers only?
We'll go with the NFL octopus scorers.
All right. These are all players, as I mentioned, that scored a touchdown and then scored the ensuing 2-point conversion. I will give you the player and the team. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Adam Thielen, Carolina Panthers.
17.
Incorrect. Vincent Jackson, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Pass.
Dalvin Cook, Minnesota Vikings.
5.
Incorrect. Adam Thielen, Carolina Panthers.
18.
Incorrect. Vincent Jackson, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
12.
Incorrect. Dalvin Cook, Minnesota Vikings.
22.
Incorrect. Adam Thielen, Carolina Panthers.
19.
Correct. Danny Amendola, New England Patriots.
17.
Incorrect. You were going to work your way to Adam Thielen one at a time. 16, 17, 18.
Hey.
You eventually got it with 19. Vincent Jackson with the Bucks were number 83. Dalvin Cook, Minnesota Vikings, we would have accepted 33 or 4. He wore both during his time. And Danny Amendola, which I believe you only got one shot at with the Patriots, wore number 80. So there you go. You got Adam Thielen. That's good enough for one. We'll see if it holds up. Go ahead and sit on the line.
All right.
By the way, if you're wondering, 188 players have been octopus scorers, have scored a touchdown and the ensuing 2-point conversion since 1994 when the 2-point conversion first went into enacted as it is now. So 188 options for that category. That's kind of crazy. Who do we have next up? We have Justin in Raleigh. Justin, are you there?
I'm here. Let's go.
All right. The categories you get to choose from are NFL, players who threw a pass that are not quarterbacks, NBA current players only, or NHL Canes and Whalers only?
NHL Canes and Whalers.
All right. Sounds like you know the deal. I'll give you the team and the player. I will say the team, even though you know it in this category, to keep it fair with the other contestant. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. You need 2 for the win, but obviously go for a perfect score if you can. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Pyotr Kochetkov, Carolina Hurricanes.
52.
Correct. Tony D'Angelo, Carolina Hurricanes.
74.
Incorrect. Brett Pesce, Carolina Hurricanes.
22.
Correct. Dave Tippett, Hartford Whalers.
5.
Incorrect. Tony D'Angelo, Carolina Hurricanes.
77.
Correct. Dave Tippett, Hartford Whalers.
Pass.
Troy Bodie, Carolina Hurricanes.
17.
Incorrect. Dave Tippett, Hartford Whalers.
8.
Throwing that Hartford Whalers in there really threw my rhythm off. You got Kochetkov, you got D'Angelo, you got Pesce, so you have the win. But just so it doesn't rattle around in your brain the rest of the day, Tippett is number 15 with the Whalers, and Troy Bodie is number 20 with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay.
Either way, that's enough for the win, so congratulations. You got the tickets, and you get the bragging rights of winning the numbers game.
Sure, appreciate it.
Go ahead and sit on the line. Graham has some info he needs to get from you. But again, congratulations. By the way, the prize in that one was a pair of tickets to see Stained and Breaking Benjamin with Daughtry at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on Saturday, September 21st. Yeah, throwing that Whalers in there kind of. Carolina Hurricanes, and then the Hartford Whaler just threw off my rhythm. But I think I did all right. Just watching the film and seeing if I can get better right away. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, I need to tell you about Miller Lending. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending, and of course that includes Gordon Miller. They're the home of the no closing cost loan. Gordon's been doing no closing cost loans since 1987, and I think some of you still may not fully understand what I mean when I say that. Right? No closing cost loans, you may think like, oh, they're just rolling it over. Oh, they must be putting it into a fee. Oh, they're finding a way to get that money. They're just saying no closing costs. It's not the way it works, right? No closing costs mean no closing costs. No third-party fees. Zero means zero. That might be the best way to put it at Miller Lending. So you can really refinance if rates drop at no cost to you, right? Rates, there may be a Fed cut coming. Some are talking about it. Gordon Miller and Miller Lending, they're always going to be up on the latest news, the latest market movements, and they're always going to have the proper way for you to take advantage of that market movement. And that includes the no closing cost loan. That makes you as flexible and as adaptable as possible. So no matter what the market does, you are in the best position you can possibly be, which is really all we can ask for. Right? Life we can't always control. Sometimes you have to move for job reasons. Sometimes you have to move for family reasons. Or you just want to and you don't want to wait for interest rates to come down. Timing can't always be something you choose. Being prepared to take advantage of the market in the best way you can, well, that is something you choose. So choose Miller Lending. 919-447-3377. I'll say it again a little bit slower. The phone number to call, 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online at Miller Lending. Once again, that's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We'll be back to talk about one of the only college games we didn't talk about yet today that will be played here in the state of North Carolina this weekend. There will be a party when App State and ECU get together, but it's also a really important game. I'll tell you why coming up.
The Adam Gold Show.
Look, just because Florida State is already 0-2 and out of the picture doesn't mean the ACC is lost. Yeah, it's a bad sign that we're having to hang our hat on the perpetually disappointing Miami Hurricanes. But there are a number of teams, including Clemson, that could still be players in the race. So let's not go crazy, people.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Welcome to Staples. My son's teacher emailed his back-to-school list. He needs crayons and comp books. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for school. Oh, now they're saying he needs folders and glue. You got it. And markers? Of course. Oh, geez.
Can we get a cart?
please?
Save big on back to school with Staples Hot Deals. Right now, 24-pack Crayola crayons and comp books are only 45 cents each at Staples. Ends 9/14, in-store only, limit 10. Prices valid in select stores. Visit staples.com/stores/school deals.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Hey friends, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. NFL Week 2 is here, and you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're new to FanDuel, you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Think about this single game parlay. Bills at Dolphins, Dalton Kincaid, anytime touchdown, Josh Allen, 300-plus passing yards, Tyreek Hill, 100-plus receiving yards. Just suggestions. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul, Paul with a capital P, and make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
It's truck season at Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Get yourself a brand new 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 with a combined discount of up to 15% off. Or just 5.9% interest for 84 months with a 9% combined discount when you trade in a 2013 or newer vehicle. See dealer for discounts and details. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. Visit in person today or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
Adam Golden Studio with my man Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I knew your dad back in the day. The open house is coming up Friday and Saturday at the Aluminum Company. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, come on out. Take a look at all our products. We have windows, siding, doors, roofing, manufacturers' reps on site to help you answer any of your home improvement needs. And you may just run into this guy right here.
Hey, he's back.
I want to say something.
We can't get rid of you.
Yeah, free ice cream, free drawings for thousands of dollars worth of prizes. Your favorite salesman will be there. Dallas Sproul, Ryan Monsine, who's my personal favorite, Danny Newman, Patrick Day, John Alexander, Jeff Hoffman. Come on by, get your name in for the drawing, win some prizes, and take a look at all the great home improvements the Aluminum Company has to offer.
You guys got tons of great stuff, but all of those names, I have been hearing all of those names for 25 years. It is incredible. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, the open house Friday and Saturday on Hamlin Road in Durham, aluminumcompany.com.
This hour of The Drive is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer and learn more. It's hard to stop a train.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I was wondering, because we're about to talk about App State ECU, the importance of that game, what that game may have represented to yesteryear, and a few other things going on here in the state of North Carolina. But I was curious which which logo Graham was going to throw. If you're watching on our YouTube live stream, we have a video board behind me, and it's throughout the show it changes to the logo of the team we're talking about, or it'll show the title of a segment that we're doing or something like that. Graham, you threw ECU up there.
Sorry to all my App State fans out there listening. Anybody that knows me knows that I wear my pride of Kinston, North Carolina on my sleeve. And with that being said, gotta support the neighbors in the backyard this weekend. I'm going with the purple. And hopefully there are some ECU fans in their car that just went gold.
There are quite a few people that work in our office that are App State grads.
I think that's another thing, too. I've just been around enough Appalachians, if that's what you want to call it. So
you better be careful. My mom went to App State.
Oh, that's right.
So, hey, relax.
So, yeah, I'm really outnumbered in that aspect.
Here's the deal. Games like this one, first of all, like just to call a spade, as far as fun and atmosphere, I don't know if you can. It doesn't really matter which one, and I personally haven't been to a game in Boone, but from everything I hear, App State versus ECU, you pick the location, the two fan bases are going to have a good time. Also, you pick the records. Both of these teams could be coming in at 0-6, and it would still be a crazy atmosphere. So this one will be fun. Games like this one, though, at one point in time, were the pinnacle of college football.
Yep.
Your regional rivalry used to be the biggest game possible. And I think it's the gift and the curse of the media, sports media-ifying of college football is that we now get to watch every game, right? We now, if you want to be a diehard, one of the new Pac-12 teams, Fresno State fan, go ahead and be a diehard Fresno State fan, and you can watch every game from the comfort of your couch here in North Carolina. But there was a time where, and it's, it's actually really funny, who you are a fan of now is so much more of a choice than it used to be, right? You used to have to be a fan of the local team because it was the only one you could follow with any kind of consistency, right? You lived in North Carolina and you were a Rutgers fan. It's like, cool, you're just never going to get to watch your favorite team.
Yeah.
It's, that if they're not on the national game, which why would they? You just didn't get to do it. So you became so invested in your local team. Nowadays, streaming and everything else, you probably want to be a fan of a national championship contender or whatever it is. And more and more and more, I'm seeing that people become a fan of whoever was the coolest team when they were 10 years old. Like if you were 10 years old in 2006, you're probably a Florida fan because Tim Tebow was awesome. If you were a 10-year-old when Johnny Manziel was there, you're probably an A&M fan, and you probably still watch all the A&M games. But if you go back just like one generation, App State versus ECU would be the biggest thing possible for people in those markets because they didn't care as much about Clemson, Georgia.
And what's strange is that when you talk about these regional matchups in the state of North Carolina, this ECU App State game has been more reoccurring than ECU versus North Carolina, ECU versus NC State. Just a couple of years ago, and I can't remember what year it was, ECU and App State met in the Dukes Mayo Classic, which just took place last week. And then the following year, ECU went to App State. So that might have been 2022 when ECU and App played in Boone.
It's part of it is you have to be like a similar level to make this work, right? I'll use my experience as an example. I want to say I played at the University of Delaware. We were probably an hour and a half from College Park, Maryland, and just regionally, right? There's similar size schools, state schools. Delaware, Maryland, on paper, kind of looks like it might be a rivalry. But at the time, Maryland was in the ACC, and they're pretty good. Ralph Friedgen was still there. It was absolutely not. We're not a rival, right? It just didn't make sense. Meanwhile, you might have to drive a little bit further, but our rivals were the JMUs, the William and Mary's, right? It's a further drive, no doubt, but we played a similar level, and you'd end up being a rivalry there. So those ended up being our biggest games. ECU and App State, I'm sure they love playing the ACC schools, and I'm sure they love playing NC State or North Carolina, and they would love for that to be a rival, but it's just not really going to happen because they're ACC schools and they have their other rivalries. But App State and ECU, being like a massive game on each campus is because it could realistically, the trophy could realistically pass hands every year if you have one. You know what I mean? It's a different breed. So I think part of the secret sauce of college sports are these games. The games that you might have to go to get the full experience. The games that you may have somebody else in your office. We were talking about it, right? Yeah. Half the office goes to App State. You're an ECU fan. That becomes something in your community. Nowadays, so often the biggest game on your schedule ends up being the team with the most national notoriety, or it ends up being the game that'll give you the biggest bump in net ranking if you win. It ends up being the game that ESPN chooses to broadcast. Like, those games end up being your biggest games when, the narratives, the storylines of college rivalries are part of the secret sauce. It's why I am so dead set on keeping the triangle teams in the same conference. And, like, if the ACC dissolves, I don't think it will, but if it does, wherever they move, they should move as a pack to keep that secret sauce. It's why I'm such a person hurt by the fact that Oregon and Oregon State aren't going to be playing each other. Does that matter to me? No, it doesn't matter to me at all. Does it matter to the people in Oregon? Like, that's part of the secret sauce, is that Oregon and Oregon State fans are in the office together, and they would talk trash that week. And the same thing with Washington State. The same thing with USC and Oregon. I guess they moved together. USC and I don't know, some other school from the old Pac-12 that they used to play all the time. Or Texas and Texas Tech, I guess would have been. My point is, when you lose rivalries, when you lose regional rivalries, you lose part of what made us fall in love with college football in the first place. And I'm glad that App State and ECU are playing this game. I saw Mike Houston said it's important to him, and I believe it's important to the App State community as well. Play these games. And guess what? Could you schedule, I don't know, an FCS school and get a more guaranteed win for a non-conference game? Sure. Are you risking a loss? Maybe. But your players, they get a better experience.
I mean, we saw how scary it was for NC State 2 years ago when they were the preseason ranked 10th team in the country, and they opened their season down in Greenville, and the final score ended up being 35-28, like a one-touchdown game.
That's that's why I think they had to put it in state legislation that the Power 4 programs in the state have to play some of these games, because it doesn't always make sense to go down a division and play a team that can beat you. But ECU and App, they should play.
But that's the thing.
Charlotte should be in that group too. They should play also.
ECU, and to give App State credit, when they played North Carolina the previous 2 times, it's come down to the wire. ECU has beaten some of these teams.
Oh, yeah. ECU beat Virginia Tech.
I was at the 73-41 ECU versus North Carolina game back in 2014, and ECU just railroaded North Carolina.
These are not bad programs. I'm saying it's good football. It's different, but it's good football. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner, or one of the official sports betting partners of the NFL. Whether you call it a touchdown, a tutty, a tug, taking it to the house, beating them deep, finding promised land, pay dirt, whatever you call it, a touchdown simply means more on DraftKings Sportsbook. If you are ready to place your first NFL bet, try betting on something simple, like just a player to score a touchdown. Looking at tonight's game, right? Miami-Buffalo. The best odds, or the lowest odds, I guess you could say, Tyreek Hill to score, -120. Guy scores a lot of touchdowns. But if he does it, can't go broke making a profit, right? Money is money. Devon Achane, -110. Josh Allen, -110. Those are the favorites. If you're looking for something a little longer odds, Keon Coleman, the rookie, +235. Dalton Kincaid, who had a very quiet day for Buffalo in Week 1, +195 if you think he's due for a bounce back. If you want a real deep cut, what about maybe a Ray Davis +800 touchdown? Backup running back for Buffalo, rookie, showed a little bit of wiggle during the draft process. Dawson Knox, another tight end, +550. Tua Tagovailoa, tush push anybody, a little quarterback sneak, plus 850. My point is the options are out there. You just have to head to the Sportsbook app, the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and figure out which one is right for you, and then get ready to do a touchdown dance of your own. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium as well. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms. We have Overdrive coming up next. We're going to talk Panthers turning the page, looking towards the Chargers. At least we did that earlier. You'll hear the conversation again to start Overdrive. Thank you to Graham for keeping us up and running. We'll see you tomorrow to round out the week. Until then, have a great night, everybody.